All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Boss Talk Podcast. Today we have our special guest, Shadya. Thank you for being here.
Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Come on, you guys don't even like no hand claps or
Absolutely.
nothing.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what is it that you do? What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I come from the radio, as Moses knows, industry. I was in marketing, digital marketing, media advertising, so specifically radio, podcast and digital. Worked for iHeartRadio and Odyssey, and now currently looking to pursue my next opportunity in the space. So have a lot of passion and love for the entertainment industry. I've been in it for over 11 years now. It's not like any other industry.
Right.
Most people can't relate unless you're in it. So it is very cutthroat, but I couldn't see myself being anywhere else. And Moses and I actually met at a networking event, a radio event.
Yep.
What was it, a year ago, I think?
Yeah.
A year and a half?
About so. Yeah.
Yeah. So we introduced ourselves and we hit it off, and now I'm here. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
And we appreciate you being here.
Of course. Thank you.
And we also wish you luck on your next ventures.
Thank
For
you.
sure. We're
Looking forward to
we're
connecting.
definitely all gonna work together sometime, somehow.
Yes. So usually, what I do at the beginning of every episode is a boss talk. But I have a question before I do that. What do you consider yourself in this space? Do you consider yourself an employee or a boss in this space? How do you view yourself in the entertainment realm?
That's a good question. I'd rather identify myself as an expert versus, at least currently, versus boss or employee, just because I'm in that transitional phase, but I do have that experience. I have a lot of experience in the industry. So I can talk to certain, things I've done in radio and what I've done in the sales realm of things and marketing. So I have my expertise in like certain niches in radio. So I think to answer your question, I would categorize myself as an expert. Media, advertising,
Right.
radio expert.
The reason I ask, and I think to even get to this question, is because whenever I do the boss talks, it's always about advice. I'm definitely gonna consider myself a boss, but situationally, I work for other people as well too.
Of course.
But when navigating these spaces, our entrepreneurship has made us that, even without even thinking of that, without even thinking like I'm a boss. Like one day you just look up and you realize you actually are a boss, and you didn't even realize it. And so today's boss talk is a little bit different. It's not actually themed. It's more so going to be a shared experience from the perspective of a boss. So America,
That's a really good way of putting it.
I like
honestly.
that.
Yeah.
That was good. How long did you think about that for?
just now, because I don't have a boss talk.
Because you're a boss.
So
You're your
it's-
own boss.
Yep.
You're an entrepreneur.
yeah.
Talent.
And I think the experience I want to share, which I'm pretty sure everybody up here will be able to relate to, because whether you view yourself a way or not doesn't mean that you're not that. So I would consider somebody like you a boss, because you're navigating the space and you're jumping from one thing to another, and only somebody who's in control can do that,
Yeah.
without being guided there.
You're right.
So for me and Moses in particular, I'm dead tired.
Bro, I promise you, this is exactly what I wanted to bring up, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah, there's nothing else. I'm gonna complain today's episode, right?
Is that why you got the glasses on?
That's
has
not
them
why.
on.
No,
Oh, okay.
this is
That's
uniform.
just-
This is just regular,
It helps though.
It does though.
Happy, sad,
It helps,
mad.
it helps
Glasses
those
are on.
bags underneath his eyes right now.
Have you ever seen like the shirt of like Darth Vader with all of his moods?
Yeah,
But
it's the same thing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, but yeah, me and Moses are extremely tired. I can't even speak for him per se exactly, but I can say for myself, I feel like I'm on drugs. Haven't taken any, but this past week has been the most busiest and chaotic week of my entire life.
Really?
Legit.
The entire, from birth to now, I've never had it be this busy.
Let's hear it.
Oh, you would. So,
I want to know.
Oh yeah, we're speaking on it.
so you know, and without getting too deep, because I want to hear from other people too, because I'll get into it, but yeah, I want to share the
Yeah.
floor. I just, if for people who are going to take control of their life and start going into different spaces and inevitably become a boss, understand that there is going to be a lot of sacrifice on the regular. I don't always get to do the exact things that I want to do. I want to do little kid stuff sometimes. I just want to sit at home and play my Xbox, and everybody leave me alone. And for the last week, I have just walked by the Xbox, like I'm about to pick up this controller, but I'm like,
You can't.
you got kids, dog, and they need to eat. So like, you got to keep doing, pursuing what you're pursuing.
Right.
So just know, like, it all has a payoff. When you are working this hard and it gets crazy, just keep going, because there is a payoff. Thoughts?
Oh, for sure.
I agree with that.
Yeah, for me, yeah, it's been busy these past 2 weeks, but about 3 weeks ago, right? I mean, we all have our struggles. It looks good behind social media, everyone, especially the circles that, like, I'm in particular. People are always like, oh, man, like, congrats on your successes. That's, like, cool, but I'm still struggling. And, you know, whether it's financially or whatever it is, right? So I was praying to God, and I asked him, like, damn, God, like, is this really, like, is this working now? Like, why is it taking so long, this and that? Like, I need to be more busy. I need to be more financially stable, this and that. So fast forward a week later, man, I started getting booked like crazy. And I've, like, last week I was up for 2 days, I was up for 26 hours straight.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, you know, but that's what, at the end of the day, that's what I asked for.
Right.
And being a boss, you have to go ahead and rethink it. Like, you know what, I asked for this. And there's a lot of people where they'll complain about having too much on their plate.
Right.
But then they're going to complain about having nothing on their on their plate. You get me? So it's like, you got to pick and choose.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep pushing forward, because at the end of the day, that's what you asked for.
Yeah.
And that's what success takes, you know?
Yeah.
That's what it takes to be successful.
No,
So,
you make a really good point, because, you know, obviously I'm in some weird, uneasy, I guess, transitional phase right now in my life, but I am keeping myself busy. I am networking and putting myself out there, and getting little unique opportunities sent to me out of nowhere. This opportunity being one of them. And you know, I think it's important to, like, sit back and reflect and, like, realize, like, hey, I actually asked for this, like, to your point, or, you know, I prayed for this to happen, and in order to get to the next level, you need to get through X, Y, and Z first. And yeah, I can totally vouch for what you're saying, like 100%.
right. Yeah.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. Hard work will outwork the most talented person on the planet. You can be the most talented, best singer, editor, songwriter, but if you're not putting in that work, somebody would be rated a 2 out of 5 will beat you at your own game all day, every day. And I've never seen any successful person who didn't kill themselves for that 5 years to be set for the next 40 to 50 to 60 years.
Right.
If you always want to live a life that you're just chilling, sliding by, riding that wave, then your whole life's gonna be that way. 9 to 5, paying it. But if you want to kill yourself, be busy like you guys are saying, every single day, not getting that sleep. Then there's gonna come a time. Again, we're not gonna put a timeline on it, but there's gonna come a time where you're gonna be able to be so set in life, where you're just donezo. That's it. You're successful. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that.
You know what? I don't know if you're doing what you love and you're passionate about it, I don't know if there'll ever be like a done point.
I would never stop. Like, I'm so into film, like, it's my passion.
Yeah.
I will never want to stop writing and directing and producing.
Of course, but
Ever.
you're
I'll
still
do it
gonna
till
be.
the day I die. Like, look at Martin Scorsese, look at
Yeah.
Robert De Niro and all of them. They're still doing it. And these guys are in their mid-80s now.
But now they're financially set for the
Oh,
rest
no.
of their
Yeah,
lives.
no, for
They
sure.
ripped their
I get
asses
what
for
you
the 5 to
mean.
10
Yeah.
years, and now they're just chilling and
Yeah.
doing what they love.
Right.
That's the goal in
That's
life.
the goal, to do what you love to do and have that
Exactly.
freedom.
But I think that, because I agree with you, I definitely agree with what you're saying, but I just feel like the hard work portion of it will never truly stop. I feel like there's people that we admire for, like, their art and their craft, and what ends up happening is they become this legend, and then the work doesn't feel the same anymore if they're not really in it, you know. Like, there's certain musicians, I always want to listen to their old music. I don't even want to hear nothing that they got out right now. You know, I try and it's just not hitting the same at all. And you could just tell that the drive, the passion is not the same anymore. And I don't know what that is, because then at the same time, there are artists who they never lose it. I think a good example is somebody that I really admire. I feel like was like ups and downs, and I hope you don't like take any offense to this because I looked up to you, bro. Like, and I still do. Would be Nas. So Nas's first albums and everything like that were instant classics. It's like you cannot deny this. I personally feel like I was not a biggest fan of a lot of the albums that he was dropping after Godson. After Godson, I felt like his lyricism was always there, but I didn't really like the beat selection for a long time. And he dropped like a few albums that kind of went like under the radar for me, but he never stopped. And eventually what ended up happening is he then turned around. I believe he had Kanye West produce an album for him, which I felt like Kanye could have did a way better job on the production of that particular album, but he didn't stop. And then he got to these King Disease series,
Right.
and those are fire.
They're dope.
And I think that that's dope, that you could like kind of have like a run where it's like kind of like not declining, because business wise, entrepreneurship wise, I don't know. He's invested in Ring, right?
Yeah, I did know that.
So he was
actually,
one of the first people to invest. So like
It's funny because the people on Shark Tank didn't. Nas is one of the people.
Yeah,
that
he's
did.
invested.
I didn't
in,
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like he's good, and I just admire his story all the way around. But the point being is that even at his age and his success and already having the title that he has, still attempting to put out something that is fire. And I really enjoyed those albums.
I had called you that night when I was watching the documentary on the Supreme team.
Yeah.
So he's one of the producers for that, and he's actually in it, and he's talking about it.
Yeah.
About what happened over there in New York back in like the 80s and all that about Supreme team. So it's cool that all these artists, they land up like moving their way into film and everything.
Yeah, or I'd like to use Snoop as an example because he's a smart businessman.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he's kept his relevancy in music for so long, but on top of that, he stays relevant by just venturing into different types of businesses. Like, even with the whole Martha Stewart, like, collab situation, like, they obviously built a friendship at some point, but that was just genius, in my opinion. And
sure.
he's creative, and he's not afraid to, like, step out the box and think differently and do things that other artists aren't or maybe afraid to do. But that's one artist that just like popped up into my head that I admire in that sense.
Another artist
Yeah.
like that is 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Oh my!
When's the
love
last
50.
time? I love 50, but we don't see him dropping music like
He
that.
doesn't need to. He's into film production now. bro.
Exactly, but everything that 50 drops was a banger. back in the
Everything.
day.
But you know what? To that point, I don't like his new music at all.
It's bro. Here's the thing.
I think
What-
he only does it to support other artists, though.
Yeah,
That's the
like-
difference. He doesn't do it like for a passion. He does it just
Well, that's
to
my-
put artists on.
and
Here's
that's
the
my
thing.
point,
So
yeah.
Dr. Dre's and Snoop dropped a collaboration album, right? Bro, if they did that same album into the 2000s, banger killer. I'm a big fan of, not even a fan, just a supporter of Dre and Snoop. But like, I just couldn't rock with this new album, bro.
Oh, I
Maybe
didn't
because
even-
styles change. Coming back to the points of what you were saying of how Nas went up and down, and you weren't liking it. There's points where I feel like artists change their styles and they want to like experiment with like, okay, let me try more soulful beats. Let me try cutting more samples of other songs and sticking it in. And it's not everyone's cup of tea.
I
So they're
think
just
that-
going at different niche audiences in the genre. They're hitting those subgenres in the genre.
I just
of
feel
whatever they're at.
I feel like it's being complacent, right? Because we do have examples of artists who have been around like the whole time. One of the best runs ever was E40. E40 like started in the like early 90s, 80s. You know, was popular the whole way through. And then even when I was in high school, he was on every
was-
hit song. He was featured everywhere.
Yep.
And it didn't matter. It's just a thing. Some people are gonna have the drive for it, and some are not. And I feel like 50 Cent, it's not a shot at him because clearly he redirected his energy. And that's another thing too, is like, where can you put your energy at? Like, are you gonna put your energy like all into the music? are you going to buy this $1 billion film studio?
Right.
And like,
Yeah.
you know, so
Exactly.
there's no knocking him. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm not saying like, oh, he lost it
You
like
better
that.
not, because he's gonna come on you on social media, bro,
50
real
will
quick.
track you down and find you, dog. 50's petty.
Listen, I know how to read a page out of Harry Potter book.
Yeah, G. 50's a G, dog.
Yeah.
That guy is like the best.
Yeah.
I love watching it. Just go on his Instagram, you'll be entertained for an
Yeah,
hour.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
go down. Well, on the 1 in a Million episode I did recently, we were I brought up the Diddler, and I said, I said, what do you guys think of Diddy? And I dropped it on the guests like
Oh,
randomly, and they're
man.
tripping like,
They're like, whoa,
they're like,
caught
don't,
off
bro,
guard.
like, don't, like, why are you asking me? I'm like, you're the artist. You got to tell me what you think about another fellow artist and
True.
shit, right?
So
The point is, what was the point? What the fuck was
I don't know,
getting
but
at?
you brought up something.
I just
You
wanted to
know,
bring up
you
Diddy.
brought up-
Okay,
Yeah.
now
Because you
now
brought
that
up
we're at
50,
Diddy.
and I was just gonna say like he's living for what's going on
Exactly,
right
that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
say. My bad. This
He had
Hennessy was
shirts-
hitting.
He had people wear like free Diddy shirts.
Yeah,
on and
listen.
everything.
But what I was trying to get at is
how
that
could you wear that? That's crazy.
I know,
That
but
is
they're getting
crazy.
it's crackheads getting paid. So when I brought it up, they're like, if you want to get any info on Diddy, just go on 50's page.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to get at. This
Legit.
Henny thing is possible is hitting right now,
Yeah.
and I forgot.
No. I
Well,
just go ahead.
No, I was just gonna bring it back because I mean you were bringing about like passion and this whole thing. The saddest thing I think is wasted talent. You know, like when you see somebody like someone that's so talented in what they're doing and they're literally reaching their points,
Yeah.
but they just get so frustrated because they're not there yet. And for all our audience watching, like I suggest you got to just keep pushing. You just got to keep putting that work because one day it will hit and everything will pay off.
Yeah.
100%.
You know,
you know what?
You could never stop.
To a deeper point, I have been doing music now myself for like, let me do some quick maths. Maybe like 16, 17 years. And I have always been good lyrically. That's never been like even questioned.
I could vouch for that.
Thank you. But the thing is that you're making music and this music is going to go in different settings, you know? And so then it's different. It's more than just being lyrical or having the lyrical ability. So I've gone through different things of like, I have also watched the rap game change in the past 17 years from it being like a specific type of beats for like 2 or 3 years, then the next, then the next, then the next, and different topics. And what's important this year is not even important that year. And you're trying to like keep up and follow. And I just had a lot of hardship happen in my life to the point where like I had to kind of like pause on the music. And it was a lot of like reflection and just realizing that, you know, I'm not following any trends right now.
Right.
As a matter of fact, this project that I'm working on right now was like, how can I create something new that somebody else would want to follow?
A new trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
And that's where legends are made, ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
it's all about
Authenticity.
there you go, authenticity, originality. Like that's what we need. You know, that's what's dying in film. Like everyone's remaking
Oh
all
my
these
God,
movies.
yes.
That like doesn't that piss you off?
It pisses me
And
off
then they
so much.
they suck so much.
Yes. Like what's another Mission Impossible? Do we need like 10 Mission Impossibles? Or what else? This Freaky Friday and like the
Yeah,
Disney movies.
I would
and,
say
like,
it's more of like of the spin-offs
Or
than
the
the
reboots.
franchise. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, don't talk
like,
about Tom Cruise. You don't want to. No.
hey, Tom Cruise is dope.
I know. I was saying like, no, you know.
Hey, you know what? I haven't seen it yet, but I do want to watch the new Final Destination
Oh,
movie.
yeah, I do wanna
'Cause
watch that one.
As millennials, like we grew up with like that whole franchise,
Yeah,
and
it scared you.
yeah,
Going on
we all
roller
had that
coasters.
trauma from the movies, so
Right.
it's just interesting to see like what this one's gonna be about.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, like not to cut you off.
No. I lost myself.
It's fine.
Sorry.
'Cause now I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
cut you. No, hold on. Now I'm gonna cut him off.
Saying
yeah.
spin-offs.
Have
There
you
you- yeah,
seen?
spin-offs,
Wait,
there
really,
you
really
go.
fast. Have you seen Top Gun Maverick?
I have not.
Fire. All right. So
Top,
like
yeah,
that.
Top Gun Maverick is dope.
Hey.
No, I'm not hating on Tom Cruise.
Here's the thing
just
though.
saying.
I'm not talking about like a franchise. I'm talking about.
I know what you
I'm
mean.
Oh.
talking about like
The
like,
remake.
reboot.
the remakes of it. Yeah, the reboots like Max said.
Always trash.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
they've done them on Home Alone so many
Oh,
times. They've done them.
First of all, after the second one,
Yeah.
nothing counts.
Dunzo.
yeah,
Game
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
and that's it. But
You know, if you're really about it, right? If you're really about it, I feel like you and I as filmmakers, we could remake something and it would be fire.
you know what? That's true.
That's what it really comes
That
down
is
to.
true.
It's just you're giving these tasks to the wrong people. Now the thing about it is that you and I would never start a business meeting like, all right, what film are we going to remake, you know?
Right.
But I do believe that you and I, if we were to sit down and say we were going to remake something, that it would come out fire.
You hear that, Hollywood? You heard it from us.
That's us. Don't call us trying to remake nothing though. We
Yeah.
got too many original ideas.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan of art in itself, and that's kind of where I was going to, was that, you know, a lot of the times it turns into a business transaction, and people forget about the element, like
Yeah.
the art, the artistic vibe or whatever behind whatever it is that you're doing. And right now, I can tell you, I'm listening to this album that I'm working on and everything like that, and I'm actually blown away myself because it's the best work that I've done. Because now it's not about anything else. I went through so many struggles, you know, dealing with people telling me, hey, you need to make this type of song and I could do this with it, and being lied to, because, you know, the industry is full of liars. People who will say that they can move pieces, and maybe they can, but they're not going to.
Right.
You know, or they really can't move them.
They do it just to make themselves look good.
Yeah.
I've heard it from so many people.
And
Yeah.
you,
Sure
and
you
you
have
just
to.
and you just experienced this too.
So many
yeah?
yappers in the industry. If you're gonna, though I hate that. That's like a rant of the day. But I'm not gonna make it into a rant because I have another rant of the day that's gonna come later. But I hate just for people out there, like, if you can't do something, if you can't back up your word, then don't say it. A lot of
Yeah.
people have an
Yeah.
issue with that nowadays.
Yeah.
I've done this, I've done that. Like, you haven't done 25% of that, bro or sis.
Your
or
work
whatever.
will always speak for itself. Like, you
Exactly.
don't need to like
In any room.
boast and give all this like fluff about it when you're not even, you know, your words can't back it up. So
Exactly.
unless, like you said, to your point, like just let your art speak for itself. Your
Exactly.
work.
There's too
Be
many people
passionate
that walk in a
about it,
room
yeah.
and try to prove themselves with their talk.
Yeah.
It's like if you're really about it, you're gonna walk in the room and people are already gonna see you and know. Like he's a
Exactly.
somebody. She's
Exactly.
a somebody. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an aura, it's a presence that you bring with yourself. Speaking of auras and presences, the Diddler, we got to bring it back because we need to talk with the Boss Talk crew and our guest today. There's so many things that are coming out on this Diddy case.
Every day.
Or as we
Every
like to
day.
call him at Boss Talk, the Diddler. With that accent, though. If you don't say it in that accent, then it
The
doesn't
Diddler.
count. You can't just say the Diddler. It has to be the Diddler.
I told you got to trademark it
With the
already.
hands.
We have to, yeah. yeah.
Well, he gets
The-
that from his other favorite person. But
Oh no.
This, a lot of these. Okay, so we'll get to him too later. I know Javon's going to bring him up somehow,
I'm
some
already
way.
waiting.
Javon's like, last 10
waiting to
minutes,
get
got
on
a
the
lot of late a lot. This Diddy shit is getting crazy. They got Kid Cudi testifying.
oh yeah, I did. See
They
that.
got, supposedly, I heard Usher. Trying to get Usher to testify.
I
or
hope he does
did.
if they do.
Like, this is getting like
was a
crazy,
child.
bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
He
Justin
was
Bieber was
under
a
his
child
wing,
too.
Justin Bieber. And then they brought up Steve Harvey allegedly
Oh yeah.
being in a secret relationship with him. And
Oh
how he
my
was,
God, Steve, come on,
Did
bro.
you hear about that?
I heard about that.
That
yeah.
Diddy has blackmailed him for 16 years. He's been in a relationship for 16 years. And again, it's all alleged, but
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
there's also an episode of, or Steve Harvey's show, like that's resurfaced because of all of this. And he's talking about
Baby
baby
oil.
oil.
and
Yes.
the pizza and shit. Like, you can put that shit on pizza. You don't even taste
Yeah,
that
he's
shit.
just
Like,
going
what?
on about
What?
baby oil.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes,
like-
look it up.
It is,
Oh
but
my
I
It's
feel like
not
these
a
are,
good look.
These
Yeah.
are conspiracies, though. I feel like
doesn't
It
'Cause
didn't
look,
age well.
Steve Harvey's mustache does not correlate with what we're saying. These two things do not match, or the bald head. So
I
for-
just don't know what's up with all these like multi-millionaire, billionaire people. Like they got no hobbies. Like they just get into the weirdest shit.
sexual
Yeah.
deviance,
Like,
bro.
just-
Well,
Yeah.
hey, bro, the devil is real.
Yeah.
100%.
So, like, that's what it comes down to. There's going to be an influence. And if you don't know where you're going with your life and you don't know what you're holding, what has value, then you can be moved in any which direction. There's actually a movie, The Reindeer, I think it's called, on Netflix. Did you see that one?
Documentary, right?
No, it's not a documentary. It's a show. It was something like My Reindeer or something. I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
it was like baby reindeer.
Yeah,
I heard
yeah.
about it. I know
So-
what it's about.
Grandma
but
got run over by a reindeer.
no, not that.
Oh, okay.
So
something like that.
the thing about that movie or series, I mean, to say he's like an aspiring comedian.
Oh, never mind.
And he actually puts in the work and he shows up to like different bars doing things and whatnot. And eventually somebody from like radio or TV comes into one of the bars and they're saying that they're liking his little gigs, his little act. And they're telling him like, yeah, come back like to my spot or whatever. Like, and we'll set you up to get you on TV. And he shows up. And so his want and need for that limelight is so strong that he shows up and the guy's like, yeah, let's try these drugs. And eventually he's just like starts doing drugs with the guy, and then eventually, if you want to call it that, he gets raped by the guy. But then he just keeps showing up because in his mind he's
It's
like,
gonna- it's gonna
this
be
is how I'm gonna get into the industry or
That's
whatever.
so sad, bro.
It is.
But this is the thing is that I know this to be true. I know that people are really vulnerable like this, and they really hold this value of status up high more than their own self value. And that's the problem, is that we see what's on cameras and everything like that. We're blessed to be like in LA, so we can see what happens behind the camera. So it's easier for us to like stop that and that not be used and abused.
Right.
But people come from other states or other countries. A lot of times they come to America, and then they come to here and they think they got to just do whatever's being told to them. You know, they don't understand people's dark intentions, other people's insecurities, that they're trying to belittle you because they feel small about themselves, you know? So I think that I've been hearing stuff about like, I'm gonna call him Puffy because I don't even like saying Diddy. I've been hearing stuff.
You don't like saying the diddler?
No, this whole situation.
Bad boy era name.
Yeah, that's, you know, it wasn't as gross.
Yeah.
Now it's like, nah. So,
Yeah.
and I hate even gossiping, right? Like, I hate even, you know, going on about it. But, like, the whole point is that since I was a little kid, I've been hearing stories about this.
Yeah.
About him doing particular things. And I've heard the same story about specific things from multiple different people who do not know each other from when I was a kid, which I'm not even gonna get into on here. Like,
Right.
you know, do your own thing, bro. Like, but he's only one person in this industry because there's a ton of cats just like that, you know. So
But he's probably the worst.
I wouldn't even know he's the one you see, so you think he's the worst. I bet you it's a dude right
He's the
now.
Fallout guy.
Yeah, he's the fallout guy. It's like in baseball. What's the dude's name? Jose Canseco or whatever. Like they popped him for the steroid juice and everything. He's the poster boy for it.
Right.
But
And
everybody in the
else
league
is
was
doing it.
using.
Yeah.
Everybody in the league was using steroids.
Yep.
They just put all the attention on him. You know, so it'd be like that.
So who would you say? Because Diddy was pretty powerful, bro.
He's
The
one of
guy
the
had a
most
label.
powerful
He's a
people.
billionaire.
Yeah.
Who else could you have put up to say that would be worse in his position with all the things that we've heard?
Whoever you see is usually not the most powerful.
You have the film guys too, like the Harry Weinstein.
Weinsteins,
Yeah.
Epstein.
Those
It's
guys.
always
Right.
whoever you don't see. Just like
Yeah.
even when you look at Rockefeller, right? You're thinking Jay-Z, but you don't even realize the dude in the back of those photos is the one who was funding it.
Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
It's not, you know,
How do you say apple in Spanish?
manzana.
Manzana juice. Fool.
Manzana juice. Manzana.
Manzanita.
Manzana Hugo. Hugo de manzana.
Hugo de manzana. You
Hugo
see how
de
Spanish,
manzana.
bro? Tell me a sentence in Spanish. I'll say it better than every Spaniard.
Tripping.
He believes that too.
I know he
Yeah.
does.
Let me see that. Let me see that apple juice.
It's the Hennessy, dog. Fuck.
But look, if you
You pass that to me.
if you ever
Thank
drink
you.
Hennessy, do you drink Hennessy or no?
You know, I've never had it.
Damn.
I'm usually
If you're not
I
gonna have
do,
it today,
it's
next
usually
episode
tequila.
you're having it.
There's
Or
always a
next
time
you
for a
come on.
first. Are we good, Gems?
Yeah.
So we just found out our guest dodged a mate. I was looking at the wrong camera.
She's all-
Our guest dodged a major bullet.
Yeah, I did.
Vis-a-vis.
So what happened at this dinner? Right?
Dog, this fool, dog. Hey, that list was crazy.
Oh,
G
yeah.
Feria,
No,
you,
so there- so-
Tone, that's
So
crazy,
there was,
dog.
so the other podcast. Shout out our other my other podcast.
Shout out
High
Boss
Tone and
Talk,
G-Money,
bro.
No Lanes podcast.
Oh, not
They-
Boss Talk. My bad. No names. I'm gonna say no names. This Hennessy is getting me, guys.
I can see
Love
that.
to know names,
But
dog.
yeah, shout out G Money, shout out High Tone, but No Lanes podcast. But it's always a fun time with them. They joke around all the time. So G Money, of course, made a whole list. And he said, "No way." What did he say? He said the sex worker,
Yeah,
the
there's
sex
something
worker list
sex
came
workers.
out, and he screenshots and puts pictures of me, him, and High Tone in there, and he
That's
puts us
wrong.
all like boom, boom, like checkered.
Damn.
And it's like the nicest
And,
pictures of you guys.
Yeah,
too. They're
it's
like
the nicest
smiling.
pictures of smiling,
And all the
everything.
sex
We love
workers
all
are,
of
they're
them.
like the Punisher and
Looking
shit.
like deviants.
It was the most
Oh, shit.
funniest.
But no,
thing,
let's
though.
talk about the real bullet that
Yeah.
got dodged. That's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But-
a real bullet got dodged. Our guest, please tell us. We
need-
brought up.
yeah, we need to
bro,
hear this
Yeah, you
story.
need to break
On the
this down.
topic of the diddler.
Thank you,
There
thank
you
you,
go.
thank you.
No, I just mentioned that I did get invited to a Diddy after party one time. This was about 3 summers ago. I go to a lot of industry events, so this was BET weekend. I was at a label event, and I don't even remember where this chick was working with or what label she was with. I don't remember those details, but yeah, we're just talking, and then was like, oh, you know, if you're not doing anything later, like, there's a Diddy after party, blah, blah, blah. I'll send you the flyer and the details. And I think she did even send me, like, the location and everything. But
God damn.
that day was Sunday, and I had to work the next morning. So that's what, like, steered me from, like, not wanting to go. Because I'm not a fan of after parties. I just like the main intimate events. Like, let me mingle with some people, let me do my thing, and that's about it. And then I'm ready to go home. So, but then, after that day, I thought about it. I'm like, damn, like, that probably would have been cool to go to and this and that. Didn't really think too deep into it. And then fast forward to now with all this stuff coming out, I'm like, that was a bullet that I dodged, like a blessing in disguise.
Right.
That was a
I'm
major
glad.
bullet you
So
dodged.
how long ago was this?
2022, I think,
Oh,
summer
wow,
of
very
2022.
recent.
Yeah,
that
like
was
3
not
years
long
ago.
Wow.
So, yeah, and I mean, like, there was a bunch of after parties going on. There's like, I don't know, Snoop had one, I think. Like, there's a lot of, as you know, like during these types
Right.
of weekends. But yeah, I basically didn't want to go because I don't like late night stuff, and I had work in the morning. So
You know what's weird? Like it's crossing my mind is like I've been in a position, where I'm the boss in other scenarios, as you know,
Right.
which we need to talk about here. What I've never done is try to bring people around to use them. Like that's never been a thing. Like if there's a woman that I'm attracted to, then I'm just gonna get at her directly
Right.
about that attraction. I'm not gonna be like, let's do business together.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
to
yeah.
try and like
Yeah.
pull something up. And that's always been weird to me because it's like what happens after the rejection? Like if that woman doesn't want to do it, are you still gonna do the business
Right.
or what? And now it's weird, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I just think it's wild that people will do that they will use whatever position they're in that manner. Because
so many people do that.
I mean, and look, at the end of
Yeah.
the day, I'm sure you as a woman can attest that if a man would just come up to you straight off the bat and say like, hey, I think you're beautiful, blah, 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 whatever the case is. I know you're in a relationship, so this
Right.
doesn't apply to you at the moment. But if you were single, you would probably receive that better than, like, hey, come do this. And then, and
100%. And it's happened.
Oh,
we're
I'm
positive
sure.
it's happening.
Yeah.
We know how
Many
this world
times.
works. Yes,
Yeah.
we're positive.
Especially with you being in the industry, I'm sure you ran into some creepsters.
Yeah.
You're about to run into the king of them. Thankfully, you didn't run into him.
Thankfully, I didn't. But no, I mean, and not to get like too deep and serious into these types of issues, but I have been in unfortunate circumstances in the workplace where I've been sexually harassed, verbally and physically, by multiple people. And I never spoke out about it because
Now it's your time. Expose all these assholes.
Yeah, for real.
We're
I'm
here.
not-
This is the place to do it.
yeah, no.
This is a place, yeah. We
I
don't
never
condone
spoke
this.
out about these issues because I'm sure many women can relate. But when you're put in those uncomfortable positions, you tend to freeze up. You tend to just tense up, not sure what to do in the moment. And because these men are in certain positions of power, one of my fears was that they would like retaliate in some sort of way, like because they know a lot of people in the industry, they would try to blacklist me or try to defame me in some way or ruin my reputation professionally. So that was the biggest fear I had. But at the same time, I was just stuck, like feeling violated, like not know what to do. I wasn't the only one who went through similar situations when I was going through these unfortunate circumstances. But me now and the me today, like I would certainly speak out and not let things slide. But yeah, you live and you learn. And unfortunately, that stuff still goes around a lot in the industry. And women have to face ugly people, and not just women, men go through this too. And I think it's not talked about enough, but this whole Diddy trial situation is bringing a lot of these topics to light, and it's sad for the men that have to go through that too. And I think like it needs to be normalized for them to speak out, because men handle things and cope with things a lot different than women do.
For
So
sure. Yeah.
curious to know like how you guys feel about that as men.
It's more on the edge, I feel like, for men. I can't speak on it because I don't know about harassment or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do want to say I'm sorry for hearing what you just said. And over here at Boss Talk, 1 in a million, no lames
Yeah,
anywhere.
we
do
We do not condone
any
this.
of that.
We have issues with people like you guys. Anyone who has this type of a problem of harassment, I feel like there's like a brain problem with these people. Like you can't be normal going around doing that. Either you're a bully,
not.
and we know that bullies get fullies, or they get stomped out. If they're around someone who's their equal, as in through physicality and etc. But I'm sorry to hear that, honestly.
Yeah,
I can't
appreciate it.
speak on the men because I've never been in a position like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't be in a position like that because I'm just not someone to.
To take it, yeah.
Yeah, like,
I
I
personally
wouldn't.
wouldn't be able. I wouldn't take it at all.
I'd get fired
Yeah.
or go to jail.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
like it's not. There's no ifs or ands. There's not even two options. There's one option, and it's like retaliation. So it's again. I'm really sorry for you or any woman that goes through that because it's honestly very. It's fucked up.
Yeah,
It
When
is.
they
it's
can't speak
sad.
out or do anything or feel like
Exactly.
fuck. What can I do?
Yeah.
If I go to the cops, this motherfucker may be connected with the cops.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a good big brother that's can come and run in and protect them. So
Yeah.
I feel for you and. I
Thank
hope people
you.
like that get theirs always, but that's why.
And I'm a
thank you
huge
to
believer
karma.
in karma, though.
Oh,
so
for
what
sure.
goes
You
around
just said what I
comes
said at the
around.
same time.
Sometimes just like, God will take care of it. The universe will handle it. Like, again, if that were to happen, God forbid, in my future, like I will certainly not stay quiet about it. And
There you go.
I advocate for other women and encourage other women to speak up and will be their voice if I have to. But younger me didn't know any better, didn't know how to handle it. So, yeah.
Don't even
Sucks.
speak up. Just carry pepper spray. Simple as that. Or a 9.
I think
Yeah.
it's funny because the reason I've always had an issue with this is because it messes up business for me when I'm trying to do business. It's almost like, first of all, in the workforce everywhere, you have an equal amount of talent, whether it be male or female. And a lot of the times, it's like, for example, if I'm going to hire somebody to do labor and I see one guy who is like 4'11", no muscles, and then there's a dude right here who's 6'5", and he's on Schwarzenegger, I'm going to hire him. He looks
Right.
like he could be more advantageous to that job. Same thing applies to like a female as well. A beautiful woman probably has a better chance of accessing different spaces and things like this. And that's not going to be enough because there's a plethora of beautiful women, but you need to have brains and things like that. But the point is, from a business standpoint, I've always attempted to work with people who I think can move better in spaces. And it always sucks when you kind of have to like battle the stigma that somebody else left before you.
Yeah, because
You
you're trying
know.
to prove you're trying to prove yourself more in a
For
way.
no reason.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to prove that I'm decent.
You're right.
It's not because you're guilty before
Yeah.
proven innocent rather than being
Yeah.
innocent before proven guilty. And I understand, it's a cautious way to be. But for me, it's always been weird. Like, I don't understand. Like, I even teach, I have 3 sons and only one of them is old enough to even have these conversations with him. But like, I teach him how to interact with women in general, right?
You have
And I tell him like, listen, first of all, the best thing you can do is just have normal conversation. There isn't like any special type of game that needs to be spit. You don't have to do a special thing. If you can talk to a woman and hold a conversation, you're already in the door.
Yeah.
You've already made it through. You don't lead with money. Don't lead with this or that. Those things don't matter because then when you don't have those things, then there's an issue there.
And you're bringing on the wrong woman anyway.
Exactly. Because the reality of the situation is this. I'm positive that there are a lot of women in this industry and others who have done things that they really did not want to do, whether that be the whole 9 or just a portion or whatever, and pretended as if they were enjoying whatever that they were going through at the time, like put a smile on or whatever. I could never do anything with a woman and know that it was fake.
Right.
That doesn't weird you out.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and it's crazy to me that there's like people out there who could accept that. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
I have a story.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I have a story about like opposite. I had this older lady that was trying to get me when I was at a bar at a hotel one time. And she was rich and everything. She had money.
This happens a
This-
lot too.
Fool.
And she was like trying to get, but like You know, I'm right there like, nah, like,
Fool, when you said no, dog.
I mean, I should have said, yeah, I should have said
This
yes.
fool,
I know, I
dog.
messed up. Nah, but still, still not like legit. I was probably like 22 at the time.
Oh wow.
And she was like just pushing hard, and I
How
was
old
just,
do you
I
think
felt
she
like
was?
pretty. I felt she had to be in her 60s.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was she like a hot 60s
No.
or like a crumbled?
No.
crumble.
Okay.
crumble.
I'm sorry. Go
I feel
ahead.
you.
Bad. No, but yeah, and she was like, "Oh, I have a room up here. Like, I could take care of you, this and that."
my God.
And I was all like, I just felt so uncomfortable, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good."
That's
like,
what I'm talking about, though. You
That's
felt
fun.
uncomfortable,
Right.
and the even, like with Diddy example, there's a lot of guy to guy like harassment, but there's a lot of older women preying on younger men too, or not even younger men, but just men in general.
Right.
It's just not talked about enough.
Yeah.
You know, but
So-
but you know
I'd
what?
laugh, real quick, I'd
Yeah.
laugh that situation off, bro. I would not, on me personally, I would not take it personally. I'll be like, this is fucking hilarious. And I would make it into like a game where I'll just be fucking with her,
I think-
honestly.
no, like,
it's
she's
just
no-
the way
she-
you take shit for men, because we
But-
have the
But
strength
what
to.
if
Not for
she's
women.
trying to get physical? Like she was like touching you, making you feel.
Yeah. Oh no.
I
yeah,
would
she was
know.
definitely,
I would
like touching my hand.
No,
and
just
everything like
respect.
that.
That's why
But
you
here's the thing,
respectfully and
Max.
with sternly, and you say, "Don't touch me."
Well, you don't
Yeah.
have
But look,
to. It's
Max-
not-
And you look in the eyes.
You don't have to be respectful at that point because the person is already disrespecting you. They're already crossing like a line by doing anything physical, and that's the problem too. Is that
If an old lady comes and puts her hand
No,
on
but
my
here's
like
the thing,
thigh,
though,
I'm
man,
gonna be
like,
like,
it doesn't-
"Ma'am,
Max, I'm the most like joking guy.
Yeah.
Like you,
Okay.
like you know this. You
I-
know this.
okay.
Like you'll get to know this. Like I
Yeah.
joke around all the time. I don't take things seriously. But the vibe that I got from this lady was just like so like. No, there's something wrong.
Like Diddy
with-
vibes.
Yeah.
You got like evil
straight up,
vibes.
Roast you
like,
out.
yeah, like I felt like she was probably gonna take me to her room if I would have said yes, and something would have happened.
you know. Look, you know what's
Very
crazy?
much.
Dog, I'm sorry.
It
Like,
could have been
that,
a
I'm
trap.
sorry, bro. I'm
It
sorry.
could have been a trap, and she
that-
could have had like
exactly.
guys.
She could have
Yeah,
had
that's
guys
another
come
thing
in.
too, but
Oh,
you know
Diddy
what's
would have
crazy?
walked in the
You-
room,
you know
and I
what's-
would have been.
You know what's
We would have
crazy?
walked in with baby oil.
Right? You know what's crazy? I just seen
wild.
a reel on Facebook today. It was like some chick and she was like at the beach or something, and she's like some kids, some boys walked over to me and asked me to flash them or whatever, right?
Oh my god.
And then it cut to another guy and he was like, "Oh, those kids were legends, right?" It's a culture. It's a cultural
Yeah.
thing because although like, you know, I understand like where we could like find like certain things like humorous or whatever, at the end of the day, you're only leading towards the full-fledged what you don't think is humorous. When
Yeah.
you okay a little bit, that's when you open the door for everything.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that like we as, you know, kind of even to circle back, because I've been trying to get back to this too. We have to be advocates for you know the younger versions of ourselves in these spaces. So like when I talk to other men about like male and female relationships, I give advice that nobody gave me when I was younger because I did a lot of things that I thought was okay. I've done some creepy things that I look back and I can admit that. And if we can't admit that, then you're being fake and
Yeah,
you're
for
being
sure.
phony, right?
100%.
That I regret. But it wasn't. It's like you don't even realize you're doing something that's wild because it's just the culture. Everybody's doing this. Like, oh, everybody. This is how you got to approach a woman. This is what you got to do.
You got to spit game, this and that.
And now that I'm older, I kind of look back and I'm like, what was wrong with every man that was in my life that was older than me that never thought to tell me like this is how it's supposed to be done? And so I make sure I'm that person. I was cutting hair for some time. Every young person, you know, 20-year-old or whatever that would sit in my chair and we would talk about either their current relationship or whatever. I gave them good advice. We didn't sit there and just like joke about it and things like that. I changed a lot. You know that.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
you know, you were there
Oh, yeah.
when I was the other me.
Yeah.
So I think that it's important that I think that should be the mission when you're here in these spaces, find these other young women or whatever, because they don't
Yeah.
you're the way you are because you're seasoned, you have experience and you know that it's not the last time you're going to have this opportunity. And I'm sure you probably have a lot of confidence in yourself now because I'm the same way too. And I even try and help them with certain things where it's like, no, you're fire. Don't let somebody tell you, present an opportunity in front of you and you think that's it. Like, and when you get the opportunity, like I told you the other day, don't even work with that guy, bro. Like when you get the resources that he was talking about, bro, do that on you by yourself,
Oh, 100%.
you know? And so
I
like,
was even gonna vouch for what you were saying, honestly, too.
Yeah.
Because like as him being the grandpa of the group, no
Yes.
offense, bro, it's all love, dog. Just not Diddy's love. He does do that, and I've always, as me
Yeah.
growing up, I had a pops. My pops was in and out. He was in jail, then he got deported. So growing up without a father, I saw that need of wanting to have a father in my life always. It was always like I wanted it to be there. So it's like a goal of mine too. Every younger person I see, I try to give them the best advice I can, regardless of what their background is or what it is,
Right.
as much as I can. Now you're older, so you get a little bit more grasp of an audience, more. It's like not authenticity, but like validity because you're
experience, yeah.
older. Yeah, so they're like, okay, he has experience in this shit. But that's something I inspire to do too. Is when I'm old, like I can be a father to any kid that wants it. Like not straight up, like not even as a
father
jokingly-
figure.
Father
Right.
figure. Like if they need it, I am open in the future to be like a straight up a big brother or whatever. Because I never got it, and I know there's so many kids who see their other friends with pops and shit, and they just like, damn, bro. They
Yeah.
want to have that feeling, but
it-
they never truly have it.
And
type
it's a
thing.
great feeling to do that for someone. Like I say all the
Exactly.
time with my nephew, bro. He hits me up all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly texting me, Uncle Mo, like this happened at school.
Yeah.
This happened. Oh, I'm going through this. Like I'm gonna fight this person. I'm like, hold on. And then me and him will hop on a phone call and everything,
Yeah.
you know. And I give him this advice. He goes, you're right. You're right. And it's just such a good feeling inside to be able to do that for somebody, you know.
Because at the end of the day, it takes a village.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
does. Like, you know, like you said, like you didn't have your father, but a lot of times, like other boys who are growing up the same, like they might not even have an uncle or a cousin or a friend to talk to. And sorry, not to cut you off,
No,
but
you're
I'm
good.
like the same way with my nieces. They're in middle school and high school and
Right.
similar situations, and now it's a whole, you know, in this digital era that we're in social media and
Yeah.
different issues that arise. So I try to be a voice for them in addition to their mom being there for them. So
sure.
I think it does take a village. It takes, you know, the aunts and the uncles, the cousins, the friends, the neighbors, like everyone, the strangers that can be a voice for the younger people and younger generation. And kudos to you for teaching your son, like at a young age, how to like respect and communicate with women, like
Oh, I want the
properly.
best. I just it all comes from the place that I just want the best for him.
Exactly.
That's all it really comes down to is I want him to grow up and be a better man than I ever could be. And I want him to enjoy his life and not have the blemishes and the stains. Because the thing that I realized about me, the thing that was heartbreaking was that a lot of people love me, you know, and I was able to do things like in secret. But then when I had to go back and like reflect on it, I'm like, I feel like I let everybody down who may admire me, or you know, even if it's my older relatives, they look at me a certain specific type of way. A lot of us are not who we really think we are. If you really take the time to reflect on ourselves, we are not who we really think that we are. I am who I think that I am now, you know.
Right.
But it's just important, and again, there is accountability, but then I also look and I'm like, where are the elders at? Where they? Everybody's still trying to be young.
Yeah.
For example, you know, I'm not that old, right? I think I'm probably the same age as you, as a matter of fact.
Probably.
Yeah. So
How old are you?
I'm 34. So.
Okay, I'm turning 34 in July, so I'm 33.
Oh, my bad. I'm old. No, I'm just playing.
We're the same age. We're the same
Yeah,
age.
yeah. So, but the whole
The blossoming years, guys.
the whole point is that I realized that it was way more important to be righteous than it was to try and appear to be young, if that makes any sense. And I
Yeah.
feel like I see people in the entertainment industry all the time trying to pretend that they're younger. They were
Trying to fit in.
yeah, trying to
up.
fit in. It's like, why am I fitting in? I'm controlling this. I don't need to be with you like 21-year-olds or things like that, trying to like be like you or anything. It doesn't make sense.
No.
So, yeah. Now the alcohol's kicking in, so I kind of lost my train of thought. But the whole point is,
It's just
we need to
kicking in, dog?
do good things. We need to do
Fool,
good
I've
things.
been kicking in for like an hour, dog. I've been like,
sips.
I'm like forgetting what I'm saying and shit. Cause
Where are we at?
I've been,
Hey,
hey,
he looks like he's a 34-year-old.
I've been fasting for like 34 hours. So like,
Oh,
that's
all of
why
a sudden.
didn't-
I didn't hear that.
You know what I mean? So it's like, health, guys, health is wealth. Dr.
Health is
Sebi
wealth, yep.
put a great. Have you heard of Dr. Sebi?
Yes.
So you know, alkalize your bodies, ladies and gentlemen. But real quick, what we're doing right now is the complete opposite. Rant of the day. I've been keeping this in me for so long, and I freak out every time I
Let
see
it
it.
out.
We have a thing on this show. It's called Rant of the Day. Keeps the doctor away.
Oh.
It's like hitting a punching bag, shooting a Glock. You're releasing the tension. You're allowing yourself to chill, saying what needs to be said.
Yeah.
Rant of the day. People who have Samsungs.
I'm with you on
I
that one.
actually kind of get it.
It is not
the green message,
bro. It's not the medieval ages. You don't need to. If you have the money to get an iPhone, get an iPhone. People
That's
be
the
like,
best rant of the
people
days ever.
listen. People be like, bro, my Samsung can flip open and close. Like, bro, so can a fucking folding chair. What's your point? What are you trying to get at? A quesadilla can fold and up and close. Bro,
So can my
please
flip
get an
phone
iPhone.
from
And you know what the
early
fun?
2000s.
hey, those
what
are
I'm
the best.
saying.
They didn't break when they dropped. Shoot.
still-
That's the
Hey, you want to speak?
Nokias.
You know what's funny about that concept? Let's be real quick, and then I want to like listen. So I'm driving today to go pick up the equipment. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
right? And all of a sudden, I turn and I see there's like 2 folding chairs in the street. And people are just like running these chairs over, and I'm looking at these chairs like those are some good chairs.
That's hilarious.
And so you know your
Hey,
boy pulled over and picked up both
What?
of them
No,
chairs.
you did not.
I swear,
Hey, one man's
everything I loved, I
trash
took
is
away.
another
That's
man's
hilarious.
treasure.
right?
That's
Hey,
hilarious.
those are my
Just did
smoking
that.
chairs, bro, from my balcony. I
Hell
don't care what
yeah.
nobody says.
I
Hey,
love
and then-
that.
did something like that like 2 weeks ago, so I can't even.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, hey, you know what? I love that for us. You know?
Yes.
That's that.
I'm not
We had that in-
passing up
we
on
had that
nothing
in store
good
for
like
us.
that, bro.
Yeah,
like,
like-
hey, and the chairs are solid. Those are
That's
indestructible because it was trucks, all types of stuff. Right
there
over
you
these
go.
chairs.
Hey, and you know my bougie ass was running over before you pulled up, dog.
Hey, and the reason I brought this up is because you brought up how something's folded.
Foldable.
Bro, those are durable items.
I know, yeah, they are.
Javon was right there in the middle of the street. Cars are all honking. Hold on.
Yeah,
It's just
check this
perfect,
out.
dog.
I don't know about the today's foldable Android phones, but
Yeah.
like the old school,
old school-
flip phones,
Oh.
those are
The
durable.
Nokias, like you could not
Yeah.
break those.
You know
Where
why I
your
love
keypad
those?
is on your screen.
Listen. You know why the flippable phones are the best? Because when you're pissed off arguing after, you're like, man, fuck this shit. You like slap that shit closed.
Close it.
The best. Dramatic. Or like, you close that shit like that. You can't do that nowadays. You get pissed off, you turn the phone off, you're like, God damn it, fucking.
Right.
And you're
You gotta
missing,
play-
you're hitting
mad,
every
you throw-
button
place
but the
it down
fucking.
gently.
Yeah.
I
wanna
still
break- I
have.
wanna
I
break
think I
this
still
shit.
have my flip phone. Like there's like some old phones that I kept for like memories.
Oh, yeah.
I have my favorite was the Envy phone, the Verizon one, and it just had the keyboard but it swiped up.
Oh right, yeah.
And then there was one that folded too, like the NV2 or whatever.
Oh, I had
that
this-
was my
I had
favorite.
the sidekicks. That was
The
my
sidekicks
thing.
were dope. Where you just
See,
And I had the ID, the one.
the
with-
razors were dope when they came out too.
Yeah, it's crazy how far it takes. Nowadays, it's like homeless people be outside with iPhones.
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
crazy.
You guys remember the chocolate ones? Or the
Yeah.
chocolate?
Yeah,
the
the
ones
my
chocolate
with
brother
the
slide
had
up.
that phone.
and the circle shit in between?
yeah.
That was like my first phone back.
Good
in the day.
eras, good eras.
So,
Rant of the
politics.
day.
Oh,
Straight to politics.
man.
we got a lot of great people. We got our guest, okay? We got Javon.
I'm gonna ask because Max is always asking, where do you fall on the political spectrum or scale? What's your thoughts?
As in like which
I don't
political
even. I don't
party?
even want to ask because like I myself am nothing. So like if somebody
Yeah, I'm
asks me, that
nothing
doesn't make sense.
No.
So I'm
No,
like,
that
I'll-
makes perfect
But you're
sense to
asking,
me right
bro.
now.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
right now even though in the past I voted Democrat because I sway more that way, you know, for reasons such as like the fact that I'm pro-choice and, you know, like healthcare reasons and stuff. But as of now, like I don't think I fall in either political parties. They both have caused a lot of damage to the nation, and our citizens are suffering for multiple reasons, and everything that's going on overseas and hits home because I am half Middle Eastern and Arab and I have family overseas, so I don't take that issue lightly. And both parties have done a lot of damage, so I can't say that I'm affiliated with red or blue right now. I'm just very disappointed in our government in general.
100%. All I think about this issue, and I love bringing politics up because I just like to hear what people have to say, right? My whole thing is blue, red, green, whatever you are. Javon's like this too. He doesn't care for either side.
Yeah.
You don't care for either side. Moses doesn't care for either side. I maybe kind of care for a guy, but
a guy.
and I'm not gonna
You know.
say who, okay? But we need to be able to talk. People
course.
can't hate one another, and it is really an issue. We're lucky enough because we're around good people who have a brain. But anyone who hates someone else for their political beliefs, whether it's Democratic, Republican, they love Trump, they love Kamala Hillary, bro, I don't care. Are you a good person or are you not? I'm not judging you off who you voted for.
You can
Right.
still
I'm not-
have a good conversation.
You
and
could
respect each other.
exactly, and I always bring this up. Back in the day, like during the Bush times, Chappelle had that great sketch where he's like, people would never bring up, like, you could not get a guy to tell you who they're gonna vote for. Like, you would be like, who are you voting for? And they wouldn't tell you that, but they would tell you every other single detail that you didn't need to know about their life. But they wouldn't tell you who they're voting for the exact reason of not creating division, but rather garnering unity amongst the people.
Right.
Well,
And people are just at a point where you need to be able to talk. You need to be able to understand one another. That's all I have to say about the political issue.
I agree with you. I just would like to pose the question, for everybody, where it comes down to a thing of how tolerant are you going to be of certain things, right? Like, let's say me and you we can laugh and joke about everything, but I fully support rape.
Right.
I fully support this and that. Should we not be divided? Do you want to be affiliated with a person like me? And so,
Yeah.
I think,
Well, good thing either side doesn't. Support
debatable, because I feel like first
I
of all,
don't think that's debatable.
First,
bro.
well, I'm gonna tell you why I think it's debatable. First of all, both parties are trash, as I've said 10 trillion times on
Which
the show.
I agree with.
Right. And so, like, I'm not saying this to say that, like, one side is this and the other side is good, because I do not believe that at all.
Yeah.
But I do believe that there are certain narratives that get pushed heavier on one side than they do on the other, right? Like, I have my beefs with the Democratic side, but I'll be honest with you, I just feel like the reason you don't hear me speak out so much about the Democratic side is because they're so weak and powerless in this nation that it's like, why even waste my energy on them? I do believe that the Republican Party has way more power and influence on the nation. And that's the reason you hear me speak out.
Now, that I would say is
I
debatable.
agree.
I would say that is debatable. The Democrats are not weak.
They're very weak.
No.
They're very weak, bro.
That's an opinion, but that's not a fact. Because the Democrats are very strong and they have lobbyists and there's a lot of money backing them up, bro.
Okay, well, you're going into like a technicality, because I agree with you on that.
Maybe you're talking about like the things that they try to push upon the Democrats. All these like women in men's sports and stuff.
I'm saying that they're going towards people who are more timid in personality in general.
Yeah.
So
Now they are though, but not the OG liberals, not the JFK liberals. Like they weren't like that in the 70s.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, a lot has changed.
That's what I'm saying.
They flip, but I'm not talking about. I'm talking about today.
Yeah.
That today is the only thing that matters. And so, like, what I'm saying is that when you look at the influence today, the Democratic Party does not have a major influence because the party is weak in general. The ideals and everything that they promote are not. They're not like, hey, we need to get up and fight for this. They're more so just like, let's feel sorry for ourselves and let's do this and like let's complain. But there's no real action being taken. There is protests, which I do respect protests and things like to that sort. But when you look at the Republican side, majority of people who identify as Republican are usually people in positions of power. They are the business owners, so they run the nation. They employ Democrats. You know what I mean? Like, you rarely see like Democrats employing Republicans. It happens.
There are some rich ass Democrats, though. Bloomberg.
No, of course it exists. But like, my point being is, once again, the alcohol has kicked in and you just stopped me 2 times. So like, I'm trying to.
Shit, bro, that happened to me in the beginning of the episode.
I know.
After half a sip of apple juice.
I just know that when it comes to everything, like I said, I think I kind of remember. That's the only reason why I particularly will speak more so out against the Republican or conservative, which I don't even consider really conservative. Yeah. I don't believe in a 2-party system. I think it's the biggest scam of all time.
It is.
Why is it that if I don't agree with that guy, I automatically have to end up on this guy's team?
Yeah.
Imagine how much better the country would be if neither party existed. If it was just like, we literally got to vote and now we get to look at each candidate and really dissect their policies, their track record, and everything that they're getting into. I remember now.
But people aren't as educated to do that, to be honest.
They need to get educated.
They
can't be
need
sitting
to,
back.
but
We can't be sitting back
can.
and running the country based off of our stupidest people. We're supposed to be running it off of a model that everybody should get up to this level. And if people are down here, it's like almost like, imagine everybody's obese in this country, and so we say like, well, we gotta do the food like this because everybody's obese. No, we're supposed to look for our healthy people and that create the standard there.
I
So
agree. We should try, but we have to be realistic. Will it happen? Will it not? Will people
realistic,
not? Will they open their
realistic.
eyes and go deep dive?
No, but that's not the
and
concern,
not have a
though. That's
Hitler
not the-
situation where a
I mean,
fascist
okay,
comes in and
okay.
he democratically gets elected, but then you find out, oh, this guy wants to kill all the fucking Jews. So
Well, first of
there's
all, I'm at a point now in my life where Hitler is no longer going to be used as like the. It's almost like what you were saying about Diddy, how you're saying like he's like the king of this, and I'm like, bro, there's people worse than Diddy. There are people who are far worse than Hitler in this world,
And his name's Netanyahu.
there you go.
He's the devil.
He's
In human
Satan,
form.
Yahoo,
Yep.
however you want to call him, right?
I'm not even going to argue these points with you guys. I just want to ask who killed more people and who put who in more concentration camps and literally burned people. I just want to ask.
what's-
I just
what's-
want
what's the
to.
guy's
I want to
name?
ask
What's the guy's
factually.
name?
Hold on.
So no,
Let
there
him talk.
there
Let
is a
him speak
guy.
on
There
it.
is
No,
a there's a guy
I want people
at
to
this
answer,
at the
for
same time who was killing more people. There have been first of all,
If you were to say Mao, okay, I would understand. If you were to say
well, if
Genghis Khan,
if you got to let me speak to say somebody,
I'd say I can
you
maybe
gotta-
understand.
You got to let me speak first of all. So for one, there's so much information that we can go over about everything. And I'm not going to be sitting here pretending like I was ready to have this conversation with those details. But I can tell you that I'm the type of person, when I research stuff, the sentiment of it stays with me. I have no shame or no embarrassment saying on film and on camera, then it's going to live forever, that there are countless people far worse than Hitler throughout history who have done way more detrimental things to societies than Hitler's ever done. But if you currently look at who financially is like running the globe, who has infiltrated every system, wouldn't it make sense that if these are the same people who are writing the history books and everything, that they would be the ones to tell you Hitler
Exactly.
was the worst ever?
Exactly. Information has been distorted over time, and numbers have been inflated. So there's a lot of, like you said, the people that are
the victors write history.
creating
Correct. Yeah.
the narratives are the ones that are brainwashing the masses.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you said. There's a lot of people that have done far worse than Hitler, but that's not to say that what he did was good or that he should.
You should give him a pass.
Yeah, should give him a pass.
Because he
or
definitely
anything
was
like that.
racist. Like,
'Cause
as a black person,
after-
I don't rock with him. You feel me?
There's
Like,
a lot
After
of
you guys said that, I was
context.
about to be like, play Kanye's new song right now. Then might as well
Sure.
on the pod.
So, back to the earlier statement, I don't think that either we should have a two-party system. I think that we need a revolution in order to change things. And at least me personally, I feel like that our nation will get to that point because there's only so much that the common folk can take and the American citizens can handle. And we see people and start to get more riled up and make change in certain areas. So I think like it might just be one huge thing out of nowhere over time. But do I foresee something like that happening at some point? Yes. Do I think it's going to take a long time? No. Because there's just too many people that are fed up and upset. We have the technology now. We have more resources than people did back in like the 60s and, back in when you were barely allowed to vote. So we're in a different space. We're in a different time in this world. And I do think that things are going to change and they have to change.
yeah.
The way things are structured now it's not realistic. It's not feasible. Doesn't work for us anymore.
Well, it was never intended to work for us. It was never
Exactly.
intended, and I know because Africans in this nation have been the leaders of these civil rights, all of the rights that are afforded to everybody else who's not white comes at the hard work or the sacrifice or the lynchings of Africans in this country.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even like there's no debate around that.
Can you say that one more time, bro? My bad.
No, so what I said is pretty much Africans are the leaders of all of the freedoms and all the things that Europeans would love to take credit for. Mm-hmm. You have to think an African for that, because the Europeans came here and they oppressed. They caused genocide against the natives. Also, my people. They told everybody they weren't worthless. They tried to use and abuse everybody, and then they tried to paint themselves as like, we created civilization. Mm-hmm. We did this. We made everything civilized. But the only people who were experiencing any bit of civility were European descent. all throughout America's history. The reason that we get to sit here as a multicultural group today, on these couches, these chairs, and mess with this equipment here in this country is because Africans had to die for this. Like literally Africans. It's not because, and I'm not taking away from nobody else. It's not because Asians were dying, because Mexicans were dying, or
Because
anybody
Africans
else.
got the worst of it and the most of it.
No.
Essentially.
No, not
So-
because we got the worst.
So what
of
I
it.
said is not right.
No, I'm not even disagreeing with you about anything. I'm just making a statement. Not because we got the worst of it, but because we had African leaders who fought against it and succeeded, and then our success granted everybody else to come through. If it weren't for those people who were like, we're not going to take it and we're not going to fight, women wouldn't even have rights that they have in this country if it weren't for Africans doing that. Asians wouldn't even have the same rights if it weren't for Africans fighting. Hispanics, everybody, you know. So like at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that I understand this level of oppression, and I also understand that like when it comes down to, I think you were talking about Dave Chappelle when you were saying like a time frame when we kind of kept certain political conversations separate. Me personally, I don't want to be sitting with somebody or sharing a drink with or having somebody over my house around my kids, but then they're all for things that is literally going to oppress my children as they get older. You know, like that's not okay with me. I'm not okay with that. And like values do matter.
Yeah.
And I think that values have to matter more than economic status. They have to matter more than political status. They have to matter more than social acceptance and things like that. Like at the end of the day, like who are you as a person? What matters?
Morals
what's
and
important.
values are the most important.
But I feel like this nation, the excuse that I hear from a lot of like Republicans nowadays is like, well, we have to accept this because that. We have to accept this. We have to accept this. Why? I don't have to accept nothing. Like, who's to say what's right or what's wrong? And so therefore,
That's both sides, though. That's not only
I know that's my
Republicans.
point. So then why do I have to accept what you're talking about?
You don't have to. But
No,
I want to.
not you, by the way. I'm not saying you.
Yeah. I'm just. I was adding. I just want to reiterate on when we were talking about like how both parties are not on the best tip right now. I want to talk. I want to just say I'm not talking about the people who vote for either side. I'm talking about the parties in general. I don't support those parties, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of great people in between both sides.
I agree.
That I just, as a Christian, I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to get deep into that. If you're not doing me wrong, you're not stepping on my toe, you're not trying to hurt me, you're not trying to hurt my family, I have no issue with you. I have no beef with you. Whatever you want to do personally, if you like to vote for Kamala, you like to vote for Gavin Newsom, Trump, Marco Rubio, that's your business. And I feel like people at the end of the day should just get to that tip. But I do agree with you too. If you feel like someone, why would you want a racist at your pad?
Exactly.
Why would you want someone? And but I do think both sides try to inflate the weaknesses of each side. So Democrats want to call all Republicans
Yeah.
racists, or if they vote for Trump, then they think they should lower women. Bullshit. All Republicans want to go for Democrats and say, oh, they're all for trans being in men's sports. Like, no, it's we're talking of not 1 million, 2 million. We're talking about multi-million people on both sides of the political spectrum who have been raised this way, who just take this as this is their life, that at this point, they grew up there. It was a Democratic family they grew up under, a Republican family they grew up under, and it's like a part of their identity. And not everybody can cut it off, like how we've kind of like been able to separate it. Like, okay, we learned, we're educated, we've all read, and we understand what the government's done good for us and what they've done bad for us. So all I have to say is that, again, just to bring it back to what I was saying in the beginning, just need to love one another, irregardless of what they are. And if they are truly something that you feel like will oppress, or your like the color of skin that you are, or the racial ethnicity, just keep your distance. I agree with that. I agree with that.
And I agree. You know, here's the thing for me. I just recognize that a lot of people will live a life without experiences, and so it will be easy to say that, right? But if you're on the side,
No, I would say the opposite. I would say someone with experience and with love would be able to say that.
okay, I would say the opposite. That people without the experiences would say that, because it's like, how are you going to be at the bottom? I had this conversation with you on the phone. How you expect somebody to be at the bottom of the totem pole who's always eating turd? I don't cuss, you know. I try not to. Who's always getting the bad of everything, to be like, you know what? Yeah, that's right. Let's just all be about love and unity. here, by the way, you stay at the top. I don't worry, I'll be down here. You know, you guys keep all the resources. I'll be over here.
Anyone's perspective of life is what's gonna become into their reality. If you
Right.
believe
So
you can
you- so-
become,
so
if
then
you
there-
believe
so
you
then
can
there-
become the top of the top, you can become the top of the top. Obama was an African American, then he became the president of the United
Which
States.
is a terrible
Irregardless,
example.
I'm not saying I never liked Obama, his policies. Never said he did anything good for the African Americans, but he was an African American.
No, I'm saying it's
who
a
got up in
terrible
that
example,
position.
regardless
We have
of what, it's a
Tim
terrible
Scott,
example.
African American, who got
Terrible
into
example.
It's not
That's like
terrible
saying
examples.
LeBron James is a billionaire. So then me, as a guy who's not a billionaire, should just be like, hey, well, we got one black guy who's a billionaire.
Could you not do that? As
No,
an
I
African
can't because I'm
American?
not 6'7". I didn't.
I
practice
didn't say
like
basketball
that.
in life and anything that you want to venture in. If you put
Even
in the
if I
time or the
do,
hours, can you not do that?
If I do, let me ask you this question.
You
If
can
I
though.
do it, you're right. I can. If
There
I,
you-
if
then
I,
there you
if
go.
I- if
Conversation
I,
is
if
done.
If I can do it, right? Does that mean that my children can do it as well? Does that mean that
Yes.
my aunts and uncles can do it as well? Does that mean they can get through, right? But when you look at it from a different perspective, and you have, again, I don't have anything against white people, but I'm just saying, like, European is the term I'll use. When you look at Europeans, you will have people who were not qualified getting it just come straight in, come in, and nobody's stopping it, nobody's vetting it.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say we have there's black privilege nowadays too, bro. Especially in these liberal countries.
I am not experiencing it.
I've seen a lot of people.
There's
I wouldn't
no-
say
there's no
black and brown
privilege.
There's a thing
There's-
that used to be
there's-
called DEI.
There's absolutely no black privilege in this country, and this is coming from a black person. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Bro, you're
Does
telling
not-
me there
does-
aren't companies
does
who
not
don't want
exist.
to have a diverse
does not
thing in
exist.
their
That's not a
system?
privilege that people are trying.
Which
to
they
give
would
us-
take
to-
the black- they would take a black person over
it's
a white
privilege
person?
for people to want to hand you scraps now. So I
What
should feel like
scraps? A job is a scrap. To choose you over something else, somebody else is a scrap.
But they're not just choosing because of the color of their skin. They have to be qualified for the position. I don't think.
Well,
they're
that's
just-
what I believe
it's-
too.
it's not-
That's
it's
what I
not-
believe
it's-
too. But when you have Boeing and not Boeing, excuse me, when you have Delta and you have these airlines they say we want to choose African American, gay, or all of these other things over white,
So
then
long
you
as
have
they're
other white people
qualified.
questioning them
No, I think
about
it's
qualifications.
like when you have the black and brown diverse people versus white people. Let's say a black guy and a white guy, but their qualifications, their experience, their skill sets are exactly the same. That's when DEI should come into play. Okay, well, we need some diversity. Let's go for
Hello.
I
the
agree.
equally
Hey.
qualified,
Did you get that?
equally
I
qualified
agree.
candidate.
I agree, but I agree with that. I'm not
I don't
against
think they're
that.
just gonna hire, and maybe bad. Some businesses have practiced it like improperly or whatever, just to get their numbers and
No,
for corporate
I'm-
reasons.
DEI is a good thing.
But
in practice,
we
but it
need
became bad.
diversity. We need more people who are underrepresented to be successful
100%,
because
I
it shouldn't just
agree.
be one race at the top. Like,
I got a question for you.
sure.
Since black privilege exists, would you like some of it? Or would you like to keep the privilege that you have already? Would you like to be treated like a black woman, or would you like to be treated the way that you are right now?
I'd want to
No,
be
I
treated
don't
like
think I
any
don't
type
think
of person.
Black privilege necessarily exists.
Oh,
don't think-
I know, but to my point is,
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
Why
right?
don't you ask me that question?
I'm going to. I'm going to
Okay,
ask
I'm waiting.
everybody. I'm
Patiently
gonna-
waiting.
Would you want to? And there's no like. It's
Sure.
not like a offensive
Trick.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like literally. Do you like the privilege that you have as yourself right now when you enter places, or would you be like, man, I wish I could get treated the way that black woman gets treated? Have you ever thought that to yourself?
Yes and no, because I'm not a black person and I can't speak to black people's experience. I know they've gone through a lot historically, but in comparison to white people, have I been treated differently? Yes, I am a person of color.
But would you? But specifically,
Yeah.
have you ever thought like, man, I'd rather be treated the way that they were treating this black woman because she's black than the way that I'm getting treated?
No,
because
I have not.
Have you
And I will
ever,
say that
Moses?
honestly.
Have you ever went somewhere and
He's
thought,
pouring the Hennessy.
I wish? I know he's like, yes.
I would have loved to be in the NFL.
But I'm just saying,
answer.
though, have you
That's
ever thought to?
hilarious.
Have you ever thought to yourself,
Or
I
the
want to
NBA.
be, I want to be treated the way that they're treating black people? Like that's what I want. Not like what the value of a black person is.
Honestly, it's just never come to mind.
Right, but
That's
now, but I'm forcing it on your mind, right? Because this is something that black people we think about.
Yeah.
I grew up thinking like I wish I was white because I wish that I got treated the way that white people get treated in this country.
I get treated the same way because I'm Mexican. So
no, I understand. But my point being is, would you ever think to yourself, I wish that I got the treatment that a black person was getting?
I mean,
Not an Asian person, not a white person or anything. Would you ever think to yourself, that's better treatment than what I'm getting treated as a Hispanic person?
in sports.
No, that's performance. That's performance.
Can I say something?
He's just
there,
trying to
too?
get to a point.
Yeah, I know.
wanna hear that.
I
just
know
wanna
he's
hear
trying
the-
to get
Why
it,
don't you
but
ask
honestly,
me?
bro, like,
Why
I
don't you
just
ask me
never.
so I tell you?
It's never
what I
come to
think?
mind, and even though you
Okay,
forced it
well-
upon me, I can't say yes and I can't say
So
no.
so then I will tell you as a because here I'll make it easier as a black person, and you can ask any black person this. If you ask any black person, do you wish you were getting the same treatment that a white person was getting? 100%.
Oh,
We are
well, yeah.
all going to say yes.
Yeah,
we're not going
but
to
you're
be
not
confused
asking a
about-
white, but you're not asking
I
a
know,
white
I know.
person this.
No,
You're
no,
asking
no.
Mexican.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
then my thing would be like, would you want to be treated like a Mexican?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have a point here,
Yes.
too.
No.
You would rather be treated like
Yes.
a Mexican?
I would rather be treated like any other.
I'm not talking about in the penitentiary.
I'm
sorry.
and I understand. I would rather get the treatment of any other race on earth than to get the treatment of being a black person because I've lived it. And I've seen everybody receive better treatment than what we've received. Nobody
I
says to
think-
themselves like, man, they treated that black guy so well. I
think-
wish that they treated me that way.
I do think black and brown people's experience are very similar, though. Because,
That's what I'm saying,
Of course,
yeah.
you had your struggles and your experiences, and 100% they're valid. But to me, for example, I'm half Jordanian, half Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Latina and I'm Middle Eastern. On the Arab side, we're always looked at as terrorists.
Right.
Since 9/11 happened, since I was a kid, unfortunately, I had to live that experience as an Arab child. And then on the Mexican side, we're looked at as illegal aliens and border hoppers and immigrants. So it's like I got to see things from two different perspectives. Like my mother was Mexican, my father's Jordanian. So again, my experience is different from yours, but we both had our struggles and that are bigger than those of the European descent.
I think, and that's where I think I'm losing you guys at because I agree with everything you're saying. What I'm asking is,
I get what you're saying.
There's a
bro,
spectrum,
but
right?
it's
I
like-
get what
No.
you're going at, but you're not
No.
asking the guy who you need to
I
be
feel like
asking.
if there was
the
a white
question.
guy in
I
the room-
initiated
no,
this.
no,
He
no.
would be the one to ask.
That's how I know you're not understanding.
If there was
that's
a white
that's
guy.
why
Sorry,
you're not
clarify.
understanding. So what I'm saying is there a top to everything and is there a bottom? Okay.
I
So
do
I'm
not believe
so-
that
so-
African Americans are the way you're saying it, bro.
That's
I
fine.
want to
You're-
believe
but hold on,
that
let me-
everyone's all equal, bro.
Okay.
You've been talking for
Okay,
like
no,
history-
I don't
bro.
agree with that.
Yeah,
I-
history
yeah,
has
Excuse
shown
me,
us
excuse
differently.
me. I said I want
Completely
to
wrong,
believe
completely
everyone's equal, and I treat everybody equally.
Right.
For those fucking assholes that do treat black
Which
people
is-
wrong,
which
fuck
is-
them.
which is
But
the
people
world.
shouldn't be
That's the
walking
world,
around
bro.
in
That's
that
the reason. Hold on a
vibe or
second.
that victimhood.
You're
thing the
in a
whole time, bro.
country. You're in a country where it literally
You
said
say fuck you to those people. You
you're in
rank
a
those people out.
country-
You move on and you
you're
become
in a
successful, my
country-
G.
You are in a country where the Constitution doesn't say that Armenians are not a full man.
I was just gonna bring that up. I was gonna say you're Armenian and your people have struggled too and went through genocide and
Exactly.
racism and
Of course,
still go
of
through
course we
different
have.
stereotypes. So
And what
it's
do
like,
I say to those people? I say fuck you, and I
Exactly.
succeed, and I
but
push
again,
on.
you're in a country where the Constitution does not say that an Armenian is not a full man. You're also in a country that does not say that a Mexican, an Ecuadorian, or Salvadorian is not a full man. You're also in a country that says that everybody's a full man. In our literal Constitution, black men are not full men.
You know,
Like
there's
it's- like
Armenians
it's
with
actually
dark
written
skin.
in
It's
the
written in the Constitution
nobody's
ever
that
changed
we
it.
are
And-
not men.
And brother,
we
fuck
fact
what
check
and
that?
fuck.
No, it
Yeah,
doesn't
let's
work like
fact
that.
check
Like
that.
that.
It
wanna
does
fact-
work
I
like
wanna-
that.
doesn't
It
work
does
like
work
that
like
because-
that.
Wait,
It does
can we-
work like
Fact
that.
check that.
Yeah, I just
What?
want to know.
Has it not been changed in the Constitution?
I
Has that
think
been
it
changed?
has been altered. But
That
this is
has
the-
to have
this is
been
the-
changed,
This is
bro.
Let's
the-
see. Let's see.
This is the
because if that's the
foundation.
case, then it's a little different, dog.
Oh, what's very different? No,
if it has been changed in the Constitution,
Bro, I
Oh,
just
well,
I want
at the end of the day, this is what I'm trying to get across to you.
Because
right?
at least-
because I feel like everybody's trying to be nice, but I'm not trying to be nice. I'm trying to give reality, and the reality is this right here. Nobody in this room would trade places with a black person. We're not
would.
talking about you trading places with Obama or with LeBron. We're talking about would you trade places with LeBron before he was on the Lakers or before he was in the NBA?
I would.
Would you trade places with Obama before he was in any politics? The answer is no. Do you think that Obama goes around, driving around, getting better treatment than you in his day-to-day life before he was known as that position? And how do you attach literally and tell a black person, just like, I can't, bro, if your people were going through a genocide,
I would,
and then
bro.
I see, that's fine. If your people were going through a genocide, and then I see,
Because I'd still be successful at the
all right,
end
that's
of the
like
day.
me telling a
hold on,
Palestinian
what-
person. That's like me telling a Palestinian person, you guys have DJ Khaled, you're good.
Oh God.
Okay,
He
so
hasn't
what,
even
That's
seen
not-
those other people.
That no,
Do you see what I'm saying, though?
that's not
Yeah.
what I
I
was
can't
getting
just- I
at.
can't-
That's not what I was getting
That's
at.
what
So
I was
you're
getting-
saying
no,
something
okay,
completely
exactly, that's what I
I
was
have a
Clarify,
question. What
clarify.
Mexican would you trade places with?
Anyone.
Bro,
I would trade.
name
I
one.
would trade.
Name one.
I would trade.
Name one.
I would trade
Name
places
one.
with literally any Mexican. And
Why?
excuse-
That's
Let me
crazy,
rephrase.
bro.
Let me rephrase.
Why?
Bro, let me
Let him
speak,
talk.
dog. Yeah, guys.
you've
yeah.
been speaking. I've been trying to say
I know
my part
you
for
interrupted
45
everything that I've
minutes.
said. He's asking me a question,
Okay.
so like I'm allowed to have my opinion and my thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't share your thoughts on anything whatsoever. So I'm gonna speak for me. I wouldn't trade places with anybody. We were talking about treatment, right? I love being me. I love being black. I love the way that I look in the mirror. I love looking at other black people. I love the culture that we have brought to the world. I love the resilience that we have through everything. I love that we are at the bottom of treatment of everything and we're still here. And I love that everybody steals from us even to this day. That tells me we're a valuable people.
Yeah.
I love that they go to our continent and they pillage and they rob everything. And they want to say that we're trash, but then why are you rummaging the trash? Why are you taking from there? You know, I love being African, right? Because what is black? But what I'm saying is we're talking about the treatment that Africans receive versus the treatment that anybody else receives. When you look at America in general, where we are at, they allow and I don't have nothing against Asians. I love Asians. They allowed Asians to come into black communities and start up specific businesses that they wouldn't even allow us to start in our own community. They created a whole redlining
trip
system
out
and
on
things
that,
like that.
bro.
Yeah, and I don't even get too deep. So the only point is when you ask me, because the correct question should have been who would I like the treatment of? I will take the treatment of anybody else. Anybody else. You know, straight up.
That's
Can
I think that's a valid answer.
Can I speak real quickly, please?
You got 30 seconds.
First of all, the 30 seconds are ticking, so I'll make this quick. Firstly, the Constitution was changed. It was. It said online
Oh,
that
yeah, you checked
it was changed, so thank God it would be changed.
Does it state what year?
Yes, the Constitution changed significantly for black people through 3 key amendments, known as the Reconstruction Amendments, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. Does it say the year? It does not say the year, and I'm not going to vote. Look, hours. I think February, passed by Congress, February 1870, February 3rd. But as you know, shit was still fucked up in 1870. What I'm trying to get at with black privilege is not how deep Javon got into it. Like, I'm not... There is still racism that goes on across the world for all people, for Mexicans, Middle Easterns, Armenians, for everyone. Who got the worst end of it? I agree, it's the Africans. But my whole thing of what I'm trying to get at is, firstly, so let me just get these points clear so we don't get clipped later of people saying I said this or that. When I mean black privilege, I mean there are companies who will take African Americans or Africans or Mexicans or anyone else, mostly because they're saying black privilege, into these positions to work and whatever. That's what I mean. I'm not saying you guys get a better privilege than white or whatever of what you're getting at. I understand the struggle of African Americans. I don't want to lower it. What I'm trying to say is in these type of situations where you're saying, how would you like to be treated? Bro, fuck how people are going to treat you. This is how I believe it. If I was African American, first of all, I wouldn't switch places with anybody in this life. But when you were asking, would you change places with Obama before or any African American before? Yes, I would, because me being myself, I would still be successful. If you want to put me down, if you want to go against me, I'm going to say, fuck you. I'm going to find like-minded people. I'm going to be strong. I'm not going to fall into victimhood, and I'm going to fucking strive forward like MLK did, like Malcolm X did, and I'm going to defy all the odds. I'm not going to sit in this type of a mindset because just I don't find it healthy.
Have you listened to a
push
Malcolm
these
X
type
speech
of-
before?
Yes,
Or
of
MLK
course I
speech?
have. But I'm not going to
So
sit
then
down
what
and
do you mean
verbatim and tell
falling
you
into
about
it?
it.
'Cause you can't say that they're Bro,
Falling
you're
into
literally
what?
using people who are literally agreeing with all the points that I said.
And they would agree with mine too, though.
They would not, because they gave speeches literally agreeing with all of my points. So it's like it's wild.
What
to
point
me,
would they disagree with me? Let's go down point by point of
the
everything I just
privilege
said.
that black people have in this country? Literally, Malcolm X would not be.
You
agreeing
didn't
with
hear
nothing you said.
anything I just said, bro. You did not hear one thing I
All
said.
right, well-
I feel like this
It's
is a
like
rap conversation,
I think,
bro, honestly, at this point.
Understanding. I understand what both of you were trying to say.
I'm coming out of love. And I just want to say that we need at the end of the day.
lower your tone if you're coming more out of love.
You're right. I agree. I don't want my
It's the Henny.
African American brothers. I don't want anybody to get me wrong, bro. Because I have love for Javon. I have love for his mindset. Everybody is entitled to the way they think, but I'm entitled to the way I think, and I love debating. Give me a reason to debate, and I'm a
the
debate.
thing for me is that it always comes down to a thing of, first of all, I have to. These cameras are on. I have to represent. There's Africans who are going to watch this, and they're going to be pissed if I don't say the things that I know that they're thinking,
And
right?
say it, my
and
brother.
that we feel, right? And then I think there also needs to be this checking of people's checking themselves, because it's like there's always this strong opinion about other people's culture without lived experience. To even make the statement of like victimhood is like belittling.
I'm not
to
saying
say
it to the Africans or anything. I'm saying in general.
I'm saying though, to say
there's
that
Armenians and other things like that.
but
too,
we're
bro.
not talking about that right now. Though we're talking
I
about
was.
that. Okay,
I was.
well then specify that, because what I'm saying is there is no victimhood being played amongst Africans. This is literally, that's like a woman, being harassed, sexually harassed, or experiencing rape or whatever, and then when she speaks up, people are like, "Oh, this victimhood." That's reality. There's no victimhood.
I think where he was coming from is like, regardless of the situation he's in or how he's been brought up or put in, and adversities he's had to go through, he's gonna, what'd you say? Defy the odds.
I'm gonna defy the odds and keep
Defy
going
the
for it. But
odds.
he's still gonna argue that
In
I
a
didn't live
general
this.
sense.
I didn't live
I
this
don't think it was,
experience
like,
or whatever.
I guess-
So
no,
it's
see,
just
here's the thing
a
is I
pointless
understand
convo.
that, but like,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. Well, his version of defying the odds will never compare to like what an African person's version is.
Correct.
So like that's what I'm getting at, and I'm trying to make it understood. Is like everybody's always trying to come back and be like, oh no, we went through the same thing. You did not. You
No
did
one
not
said.
go through it.
I never said
Different
that.
things.
Ours is the worst, and that's what I was getting at with the scale, in saying that the bottom of that totem pole is always us, right? And it's not just in America; it's around the globe. Any country you go into, because then you play into the whole colorism. The worst treatment is going to be upon the darker skinned people in every continent on Earth, every single one, including Africa. So, like at the end of the day, like we are the darkest skinned, and it's not even a real thing, because there's like how many countries in Africa? So it's like these are from different
Yeah.
things, but
Hey.
they've grouped people by race.
You know what they say?
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. And so,
How did you know I was gonna say
because
that, dog?
I'm black, that's how I knew.
How did you know that? That's
I-
hilarious.
Yeah, I just
Tupac.
think that it comes down to a thing of, because I'm gonna just say this. I love to hear about other people's culture, and like when somebody's telling me about it, I don't offer advice to the person on their culture, because I will never know what it's like to be Jordanian. I will never know what it's like to be full Mexican. I have like a little slither.
Órale,
I will never know these things.
Órale,
So
güey.
I can't speak to anybody of another culture and tell them, well, you have to do this, and I went through this, and so you could, even
Right.
if I believe that black people went through the worst, I will never talk to another person and be like, well, as a black person, I experienced this, so you have to do that. I don't know what your culture, what your life is like. And so all I do when it comes to other people's cultures is zip it and listen. And then I learn. Because that's the same thing that I would expect other people to do too. You don't think that I would be a valid source for African information?
You're a great source for African information,
I'm not
but
saying
I'm not.
that-
I'm not getting
saying
at
that.
your guys' culture, because it's not my place. Even though I do have 1% of African in me,
Yeah.
it's not my place to speak upon your Africanism or whatever. They need to think this way. I'm talking about a mindset of humanity. You know who I am as a person. I don't believe in white, black, Chinese, Asian. I believe in you stab me or I stab you. We're both bleeding red. What else do we both have? Brains. And what can we do with that brains? Manifest, change our situations, and try to do the best. However the world is acting towards us or acting towards my brothers and sisters that are African Americans, Mexicans, Middle Easterners, Armenians, etc., that's external factors. It's
That
true that
matter,
they're
though.
there.
They matter, though.
They matter, but that's not going to be a part of speaking for myself and not for anyone else. It's not going to be my identity, or I'm not going to hold on to it.
Do you
I'm
run
going to
fast?
say fuck all
you
these
run
external
fast?
factors, and I'm going to keep going forward.
Can you run fast?
So I'm on a very fast, by the way.
Can you
I'll
run
outrun
fast on
you
black
any
ice?
day. Huh?
Can you run fast on black ice?
I'll run fast anywhere at any time.
No, it's an
brother.
external factor.
Come on,
so
let's
you
get
better
on
be
the
able
track.
to run fast
Let's
on
get
black
on the
ice
track.
too.
Hey, I'm running fast
slip and
anywhere,
fall,
brother.
my guy.
I'm wearing shoes that are gonna make me run through the black ice.
These are the
That's the
non-slips?
mindset.
These are the in and
Hold
out
on.
non-slips?
These are the mindsets who make legends into legends. So when you're saying that I'm gonna wear those shoes and I'm gonna get on that black ice and I'm gonna slide across all the way to the other side, my brother. And I don't know if you're talking about the
Oh my
black ice.
God.
I don't know if you're talking about the black ice that's the smell in the car. If you're talking about literal
I
ice
am
that's
literally
black,
talking.
I don't
Why
even
would
know.
I be talking about a
The air
scent? I'm
freshener?
literally
Dog,
talking about
'cause
black
A
ice.
scent?
Bro,
Have you ever
homie-
seen that Black Ice Key and Peele skit?
I don't think I
Oh,
have.
bro.
No.
It's
You gotta watch it, it's
essentially, bro,
hilarious.
I'm talking about love, and I get you, dog. I
Yeah.
love you. I love my African American brothers, and this is what America needs to do. They need to have dialogue like this. Maybe he doesn't agree with me. Maybe I don't agree with him. Maybe we're on two different external factors of the world or perspectives of the world, but we can still shake each other's hands. If
But
he
no,
wants
that-
to shake
that is,
my
of
hand,
course I'm shaking your hand. But that's the point. Is that's
and
what
we
I'm-
just try to
but
help one another
that's-
as much
that's-
as we can.
But
That's
there,
it.
There,
We need
there
to
comes,
listen.
there comes the
Of
yeah,
course.
and there comes the empathy part of it, right? Because and like I'm gonna just say this because I know we're kind of short on time, and I would have to use another example. What I'm saying is, I used to think that I used to feel a certain type of way about women, right, and women's issues, and then I had to become more empathetic and understand that like. This is not to speak about all women, but most women are not physically as strong as I am. They do not have the same hormones in the same levels as I do. If a woman is going through a certain time frame in the month or whatever, she can't even, because I've talked to my sisters about this or whatever. We've laughed about it. She was like, "Yeah, I just started crying for no reason." She's like, "Why am I crying?" And then she's like, "Oh, it's like that time." We don't have that.
That's debatable.
We don't.
Y'all have your time of the month.
Oh, I mean, maybe.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Okay,
Hold on.
but
So
I'm just
now,
saying-
hold on. You want to
No,
talk
stop.
about an experience you
Stop.
haven't lived upon us right now? Hold on, Skin.
Hold on.
That's all I'm
Hold
saying.
on.
Though. All I'm saying is, and then we'll get into that. Is
I'm just saying, y'all have your emotional moments. Too.
We do too. Of course we do.
But just,
But it's in the car alone.
I feel like
Yeah.
if you're dealing,
It's in the car alone.
if
We will
you-
never
if-
talk about
If
it.
you're
No,
dealing
it
with,
isn't. I don't mean just emotional, like crying. I mean like you guys.
Spaz out.
Outburst.
Spaz out.
Outburst.
Of
Spaz
course.
out.
of course.
that's
Top
a
off.
person though. That's a person, right?
Yeah.
Versus, I even think like you as a woman, you probably have a certain level of restraint. But if you're, it's almost like being hungry, right? If I'm hungry, I'm way more irritable. Little things will set me off. So like I could only imagine if my body was literally in pain, I would be more irritable.
Right, for sure.
We have one, as women, we have one normal week in the month. Like, I forget the name of the other phases, but it's like the pre-menstrual week. There's the menstrual week. I forget what luteal phase, I think it's called, which is after that. And then you just have one normal week of no
That's wild.
Yeah.
hormones being
Hey,
Women
hey,
have it hard.
hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No,
hey,
hey,
this is
shit
real.
makes
thank you
sense
to all
now.
our women. Thank you to all our women. Like we love you.
Of course. We love all the moms and
But again,
grandmas.
to your point, we're
and
not
aunts.
as strong as men. Like like biologically, we're just not wired the same.
But I can't, and
Yeah.
it's a different experience that you have, and so it wouldn't be right of me as a man to be like, as a man, this is what I experienced, and I was able to get through, so you just get through it. We have to take into account those. We have to be empathetic, and that's all I ask for. At the end of the day, I'm not here asking for a handout or anything like that. And nobody African is asking for a handout. We're asking for just understanding.
Yeah.
Understand what it is that we are literally dealing with, that it's not like made up in our mind. Because even though Max is, saying that, I agree with everything that Max is saying, but there are plenty of people out there who are literally like, oh, you're not experiencing that. You didn't experience that. You don't know what that's like. You weren't alive during slavery. They don't even realize, that there was a woman who was a slave until 1960, and she didn't even know that the slaves were freed yet.
God damn.
Yeah,
That's fucked up.
1964, I believe. So like just the experiences that we have are different, and I love to share history and educate, because I know that genuinely a lot of people that I deal with are good and decent people, just fed the wrong information. Just like I was fed the wrong information about a lot of things, even my own culture, I was fed the wrong information and had these wrong concepts. But when you get educated and you learn, then you start to look at things different. How many of us in America were taught that all these Middle Eastern people were like terrorists? We play Call of Duty, and the bad people are always
All the movies, Hollywood
Literally,
movies,
literally,
were
yeah.
depicted in that way.
yeah. So it's like I can't tell a person who is from a Middle Eastern background like oh no, you're dealing with the same thing, because I will never. I mean, they deemed us terrorists too, but it's not the same. Like we didn't get that like stigma placed
different
upon us.
story.
Right. So that's all I'm saying. But in all, it is all love.
Always, just not Diddy's. Have to
Yes.
reiterate that. Because
After
he changed
all
his
of
name
that.
to
No
Love.
Diddy. Hashtag no Diddy.
Hashtag
Yeah,
no
the
Diddy.
Diddy.
This
Yeah.
episode's going to be called No Diddy.
Oh.
No,
Featuring
no,
our
it's
guest.
not.
He said absolutely.
Absolutely not.
No, this is a great episode, and I'm
We're
sure.
eliminating
episode.
all
No.
of
Oh.
Puffy info. No, I'm just playing.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Yeah. Or name one.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
I'm serious. That's
Wait,
like one
part
of my
one or
diehard-
two?
Both.
Both.
But
yeah.
if I had to choose one, it'd be the OG, the first one.
You know what we should do? We should do a trivia of Home Alone between me and Shadya
And I would
right
win.
now. Can you bring up a trivia game right now?
Listen,
Let's try to do
I
this
went
right
to the
now.
Plaza
Hold on.
Hotel
This
when
is
I
gonna
went
be
to New
good.
York. I went to the Plaza Hotel like in the middle of the night.
And you saw Donald
Took
Trump.
the subway. No.
Oh.
But I did see I went on the walkway where his scene is at.
Mm-hmm.
And there was literally no one there but like the two doormen or whatever. And they were like, oh, you're a fan? Well, we'll take you around. There's like a certain area where you can't take pictures because they have a residential part of the building where people actually live there and stuff. So they were showing me around, and then they started quizzing me and giving me trivia, and they were like, oh, we normally do this during the holidays only.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I bet you I'll get every single
Really?
answer right. And they were
I'm
like,
kinda-
Let's
you
see,
know
okay.
your
I'm kind of
stuff.
scared, but let's
Okay,
do it. All right.
let's see if your words
how are
back
we gonna
up.
Do this? All right. Are we gonna do like a hand raise and then?
Oh, hang
Ladies
on.
and gentlemen,
Yeah.
welcome to Home Alone Trivia, brought to you by Boss Talk. It's your host with the most, Mr. Million, JB, our great esteemed guest, and Moses. So,
This is
first question of
hilarious.
trivia of the day.
We've never done this, by the way.
This is
Really?
the first time
like,
ever.
I don't know. I asked you for your favorite. I love Home Alone.
Hey,
Oh, yes.
But the fact that you're so confident, I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, we're gonna
excuse me, sir. Am I the host? Can I
Oh,
please
yeah.
talk with the?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's do
Distinguished
this.
guest.
Wait,
okay.
hold on. How are we doing this? Are we gonna do a hand raise? Who goes first?
Bang,
Whoever
I know.
whoever raises their hands first will be. We'll do how many questions? 3 or 6?
Let's do 6.
Let's do
Six
6
questions?
All right, Javon,
Okay.
are you looking? You got to see who does the hand raise first.
Wait, what's
Okay.
okay? My bad, bro.
We're doing a trivia. Who most?
You just
who
missed
knows?
out a whole
Ah,
great
bro,
intro. I
somebody's
just set
I'm
up.
trying to run a business here at the
Yeah,
same
dude.
time. My bad.
Front line's going good.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
perfect.
Always going
We're about to
good.
profit $8.50. It's
Hell
something.
yeah.
How much did you profit today? Nothing. So
Oh, this is gonna be good. Okay, let's try this.
That's hilarious.
Back to Jeopardy. We're doing trivia for Home Alone. Ladies and gentlemen, first question of the night is the
Wait,
actor.
hold on. Does it say it's part 1 or part 2, or is it just like a?
It's overall. It's
Okay,
overall
okay.
questions that you
Oh,
should
the
be
actor-
doing.
are we doing
names?
hands or something? What's happening?
Yeah,
right now?
so you
See.
gotta
You
see
put your
who raises
hands-
the
you
hand.
have
Who
to
raises
put
the
your
hand
hand on
first?
the-
So
Whoever
it's like
raises
this,
the hand
this-
first, since I'm looking, you have to be the one who calls
Yeah.
out. Raises the hand
I got
first.
it. I got
So-
great peripherals. Let's go.
One,
Straight.
2, 3. Who plays Kevin McAllister, the main character?
She beat you, bro. You
Macaulay
slow.
Culkin.
Okay, that was an easy one. So that's
was-
1. That's 1 is 0.
Come on, Mo. You gotta be
I
fast,
know,
bro.
for
Don't
real.
get beat on
the
your
henny's,
podcast.
the henny's kicking in.
And he's kidding.
The Home Alone 1 was filmed in what suburb?
Moses.
That was Mo.
Chicago.
Muley. That's 1. That's 1-1. How many pizzas do they order from Lil Nero's in the first movie?
Wait, hold on. Is this a scene?
Oh, your
In the
hands
fir-
not. He beat you.
You
How
had
many-
to
how
raise the
many?
hand at least to ask the question.
No, because I have a question on that. But
Okay,
go
okay.
ahead.
Ask.
No, there's
said-
rules. There's rules. You're not gonna use
There's
your woman
different
privilege
scenes where they
here.
order pizza. That's
You're
why.
not gonna
There
use
are,
woman
but I wanna
privilege
say-
here.
The opening scene. The opening scene.
Oh, okay.
When they order from
For
Lil
part-
Nero's.
Yeah, from part 1.
Forgot.
I honestly, that's a hard one, but I'm gonna go with 15, Bob.
Okay, what are you going with? Should we? If she gets it right, are we giving her the point?
Yeah. Why not?
30.
No, there's 10.
Okay.
So
Skip.
he was closer. So that's
10?
we do
That
that?
was a big ass family.
I know, for real.
Okay. I'm trying to find a good one. I'm trying to find one
I'll
that
just run through them, bro, because we got to get these points
Yes.
up. Anyone? It's like, what color was the main character's hair?
Okay. In the first movie, the McAllister family is preparing to go to where?
She won.
Paris.
Au français.
She's fast.
Oui,
All right,
oui,
so
oui,
that's-
oui.
What is this? 2-2 right now? All right. Yeah,
is it?
because
2-1.
you were
You got
closer
two
to that
points.
number.
Okay,
Oh,
so
we're not counting it. Oh, it
whoever
has to be
gets to
exact?
whoever
All right.
gets to 3.
All right, well then it's 2-1.
Damn,
Sorry, dog.
she's fast.
Okay. Kevin's mother, Catherine, is played by who?
Oh,
I know her
what's her
name.
name? It's,
Oh, come on. I forgot her name.
can we do next? Let's do next.
Yeah, skip.
All right, reduce point on both sides. Penalty.
It's hilarious.
What was her
dog.
name?
You guys both
Yeah,
lost.
yeah.
Answer
Javon
there.
won.
What's her name?
Catherine O'Hara. Literally.
Wait, what did
If
you?
you just said Catherine, if you said the mom's name, Catherine, I would have like, here's a point to you, bro.
What?
Wait, her name's not Catherine in the movie, is it?
It is. Kevin's mother, Catherine,
Oh,
is played by
Catherine
Catherine
O'Hara.
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 I'm saying O'Hara. O'Hara.
O'Hara,
sorry.
O'Hara's
yeah, yeah.
the actress.
Please excuse me.
Okay.
I forgot, but I knew it. I did know it.
All right.
What? Okay, this is a crazy one. This last one is crazy. What was the snow in the movie actually made of in Home Alone?
Oh fuck! I don't know that
The
shit.
snow?
Yeah.
Rice.
No, you're close. It's close. It is a food article.
Baking soda.
No, that's
Baking
what they use for
soda.
coke and rap music videos.
Sugar.
No.
No, I thought they
Salt?
used cocaine for coke and rap
Salt?
music videos. No,
Bro, maybe that one song.
Salt.
No. Fucking
All right. Well, we lost. What is it? Because that's
The
interesting.
snow?
dried potato flakes.
I was gonna say mashed potatoes for some reason, but whatever.
All right, come on, give one
That
more.
was a weird one.
Yeah, that was hard.
Game point. Let's go.
Skip.
This one page I have is a dumbass. It gives me some stupid ass.
This is good.
Okay,
though.
okay,
I like
okay.
this.
What is the name of the two burglars in the movie? That was hard. Hey, I lifted my hand up. You know I gotta go with my co-host.
All right, restart on three.
Y'all
On
did
three.
weren't
On
paying
three.
Harry
attention.
Amar.
Three. Hold on. No, we did, but you guys were just so swift out here. 1, 2, 3.
Go.
All right, Moses won.
Harry Amar.
Wait,
Bro,
no.
she wasn't even ready.
What the heck?
He got the same rules as you.
No, we both raised
all
our
about
hand on the
listening.
other question.
Listen. We treat women and men equally here at Boston. So I'm sorry. Like I would have if it was in any other circumstance, I'd be like, gotta be gentlemen. But sorry.
We have a
I
gift
didn't even know
basket
what you
for
were saying.
we have a gift
gotta listen.
basket for
It's a
you on the
game.
way
It's a
out.
game.
No, I'm just
Okay.
So what do we have? We're tied on.
you're tied.
3 and 3.
Two.
Okay. 2 and 2 or 3 or 3?
2 and 2.
2 and 2.
Game point.
What does Kevin's family accidentally do before their trip?
She won.
Leave their son at home. That's the whole premise.
See,
Right. I mean,
That was
the-
it.
what was the answer?
Wait,
say?
was that? What does it say?
they oversleep.
Oh, okay. We got to keep going.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's the first time we did a trivia episode on Boss Talk with your host with the most,
Redemption.
Javon, our
Wait,
esteemed
so
guest,
is that
and
a-
Moses.
Is that a
Where's
tie?
the confetti?
That's a tie. All right.
Hey,
that's
was
a great
that was fun.
episode.
I think we got to do that more often.
Oh, no, we're gonna use the
you know what?
soundboard.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. And that, like, I don't know how this came about.
This was
but I
great.
think
This was
I think
great.
this is a good segment. I
And
think
you-
that's the
It is.
segment.
You know
we're
what it is?
missing.
We're gonna give flowers today. With our most improved podcaster right here to my left, MVP of the show. He gets
Why?
the game ball today.
MVP of the show every
And
episode.
thank you
too.
for coming on.
Thank you for
coming on.
having
Shadya,
me.
seriously
It was a lot of
appreciate
fun.
it.
Yes.
And tell the people where they can find you at.
You can find me on Instagram. My handle is at Shadya. That's SHADYA_91. And stay tuned for clips of this episode.
Oh, this is a great
There are going
episode.
to be
Yes.
so much fire clips.
Straight
and
up.
please come on anytime you want. All our guests
Oh,
are
I
Our
would
welcome.
love
doors
to
are
do this
open.
again.
For sure.
And we will.
And I know you live so far. So she came, bro. She came. How far away did
Less
you come
than
from?
2 miles away.
Yeah.
She lives farther than I do. So,
I do.
Shadya, yeah, you do. Like by 0.2 miles. Thank you for coming out, Shadya. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Love, and you already know what type of love I'm saying, the opposite of what you're thinking. That they
Hashtag no Diddy.
You need to have productive conversations as we had today. Have great times. Mingle with people you usually wouldn't. Question things. And for the people who feel questioned, don't attack, because maybe that person is just literally trying to question, and it doesn't mean anything bad in intention. Ladies
And if you have to
gentlemen,
attack, just
love.
finish the job.
If you finish it, he's right. Finish the job. They should not wake up after it's done. Ladies and gentlemen, Boss Talk. Thank you for
Boss
coming
Talk.
out.
Thank you.
That was an amazing episode.
That was so good.
That was so much fun.
Oh, that was nice. Shadya, thank you.
Even though
Thank
you
you,
pushed me
guys.
back so I didn't come in for the full hug, it's cool.
No, bro, it's tap you in the
cool, bro. It's
back.
cool, bro.
Damn.
Oh, that was good.
Thank you
This is
so
great
much.
episode.
Thank you for coming out.
Great episode.
Great episode.
Good
Yeah,
talk.
that was so fun.
Shawty, thank you for coming out.
Thank you for
I
having us,
appreciate you.
making me laugh.
Hope you enjoyed.
I did.
Hey, is there a restroom? This anything is possible.
Straight ahead, bro.
Let's do exactly what we did at the other studio.
Thank you for being behind the cameras.
Yeah, that's